This is in 2008.
Oh my god. He just charged for me.
This is in 2023. This is in 2008. And this is in 2023.
Holy shit. Yeah, I can't even, dog. Why do you die on a cartoon character?
This is in 2008.
Amelia. Oh, she changed things. The church, they think the marker is divine, but they don't know what's happened here, what's been released. Look. Look at this. That is what we found.
And this is in 2023.
Not yet. Escape on that shuttle and you'll kill us all. When they took the marker from Aegis 7, it woke the being in the core of the planet.
The hell is that?
Mercer calls it the hive mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession. I love Dead Space. For those that don't know, this was one of those creepy-ass games that I grew up playing as a kid. Grew up playing other games like BioShock and Resident Evil 4. And I distinctly remember actually getting the BioShock demo and the Dead Space demo on our original Xbox 360. My brother and my friends and I, we tried to play the Dead Space demo, but we were absolutely terrified at the game. If you don't know, the demo is the engine room sequence where you had to boot up the Ishimura's engines and whatnot. It's a scene where the necromorphs are dragging everybody along, the floor, and it was absolutely terrifying as a young, salty, cool kid. However, I grew up and, I was like, yeah, I'm a big kid now. I'll try these games. I think I'm missing something here, These games don't scare me as much, and I am so glad I did because these games are fantastic. Playing back Dead Space 2008 has been so much fun, and the game holds up so well today with the gameplay, the graphics, the audio, and I'll go as far as to say that Dead Space is one of my favorite games of all time. So when I heard about a remake, I'll admit I was a bit apprehensive. After the disaster that was the RE3 remake, which if you don't know, RE3 remake was just like a little watered down. It wasn't what fans were really expecting. It wasn't what I was expecting, and I was just overall a little bored with the game. I was really burnt out on this $60 price tag, and when I saw the remake, I was like, yeah, I can wait for this game to go on sale. Then one night, my buddies and I were out for, a night of debauchery, and we got dinner, and I paid for dinner, of course, and one of my buddies, instead of paying me back with cash, bought me the Dead Space remake, as we were kind of talking about the game. And thinking back to it now, I would have much preferred the cash. I'm not even joking. The Dead Space remake has been honestly miserable. For this video, I'll be honest, I want to try and convince you that the original Dead Space is way better than the remake. In doing so, I played the original and the remake side by side. In one game, I would finish one chapter and then move on to the next, finish that chapter, and then, vice versa until I completed the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I try to convince you that the Dead Space remake sucks. So, let's start with chapter 1 in both games. We start out with a video message from our girlfriend, Nicole. And gamers, we got a girlfriend. Let's fucking get it. Yeah! The reason for the whole game basically the whole reason the game starts, okay? Jeez. Send a distress call from the USG Ishimura, and her performance here is really great. You can feel the desperation and the terror in her voice. She is genuinely panicked in this scene. Top it off with, she's actually pretty hot in this game, I mean, hey, that helps.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I wish I could just talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. It's strange. Such a little thing.
Right off the bat, Nicole's pretty bad. Why would we go to the Ishimura to save some ugly... Oh my god! Holy shit. Why the fuck is Nicole so old and ugly in this game? I mean, say what you want. Say what you want, but what is with the downgrade, okay? She honestly looks like Nicole's mom. How old even is she? 40? I mean, take Dead Space 2, Nicole, for example, right? She doesn't even look that old in that game. Say what you want again, but you cannot deny the facts that she's hard to look at in this iteration. I'll just be freaking honest. And honestly, her performance is so lacking in this version. She doesn't even hold a candle to her 2008 performance.
It's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I just wish I could talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. Strange. Such a little thing.
That's her.
She doesn't sound terrified or horrified at what has taken place on the Ishimura. If anything, she sounds mildly irritated. We are introduced to our main protagonist, Isaac Clarke, along with Kendra Daniels, and goddamn, there are some bad bitches in this game. I mean, compared to 2023, and holy shit! What the hell did they do to her? She looks like the actress Aquafina. Again, say what you want, but dear God, is there just no consistency? A great video by a YouTuber, Kane, a few days ago, in talking about the Mortal Kombat games. In it, he talks about the story of MK1, but also some wacky stuff. But the point of relevance to our conversation here was on the character design portion of the video. Roll the clip.
You know what really makes me struggle to care about the Mortal Kombat characters? Let me show you something real quick, bro. This is Jin Kazama in Tekken 3. Okay, now 4. Alright, now 5. 6. 7. You see that right. Now take a look at Kitana. I'm not even gonna show you what she looked like in DC, 9, or 10. I'm gonna show you what she looked like in 11, the last game. Oh! But why does Mortal Kombat keep switching the faces like this? For what purpose? Everyone in Tekken and Street Fighter has their same face, bro. Maybe some minor changes here and there, but I don't even play Street Fighter, but I know what Cammy's face looks like. I know what Akuma looks like. They can dye his hair whatever they want to, bro. They can give him a beard, they can give him hair. I don't care. I know Akuma when I see Akuma.
To me, this is like blatantly apparent in our video. Like, why not have the same consistency from, you know, game to game? Take even the Dead Space 2 sequel, right? Dead Space 2 Nicole looks radically different than Dead Space 1 Nicole. So, yeah. Finally, we were introduced to Zach Hammond, or just Hammond, and my God, dude. Hammond in 2023 he just gives like corporate fuckboy vibes, you know? Krabby Yo Monday motherfucker over here, right? For reference, I want to compare the two scenes, right, of the 2008 Hammond and the 2023 Hammond. So let's roll both, shall we?
We're here, sinking our orbit now.
All this trouble over that chunk of rock.
Deep space mining is a lucrative business, Ms. Daniels. Aegis 7 is a gold mine according to prospectors' reports. Cobalt, silicon, osmium. Now, where is she? There she is. We have visual contact.
So that's Ishimura. Impressive.
The USG Ishimura. Biggest planet cracker in her class. And it looks like they already popped the cork.
Why is it all dark? I don't see any running lights.
Corporal, take us in closer and hail them. And stay clear of that debris field. We're here to fix their ship, not the other way around.
USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellion responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura.
You're gonna need to boost the signal if their power's low.
Yes, we know. Boost the signal. More.
Never heard of a total communications blackout on one of these things. You'd think with 1,000 people on board, someone would pick up the phone.
What is that?
It's a busted array like we thought. Sounds like they're having problems with their encoder. You get us down there and Isaac and I can fix it. 48 hours max.
All right, you heard the lady. Take us in. Let's see what needs fixing.
Imagine 6 months staring at that chunk of rock.
To an independent miner, that's paradise. Aegis 7 is one of the richest finds in CEC history. Some prospecting team set up for life. Now where is she?
There. Confirming visual contact with USG Ishimura.
What a beauty. Biggest planet cracker in her class, you know. And it looks like they already popped the cork.
Why is it so dark? We should be able to see her running lights.
Yeah. I'll get us into hailing range. Someone's got to be waiting up for us.
Just be careful on the approach. I'm not taking any chances with the CEC's pride and joy.
No chances, huh? Is that why you were digging into my personnel files before we left?
You track your file access?
I'm a computer analyst. Comes with the job.
I ran standard CEC background checks, Miss Daniels. If you want to work in the big leagues, you have to play ball.
Sir, we're in hailing range. USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellion responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura. Ishimura, do you copy? Come in. This is the USG Kellion.
You ever hear of a full communications?
In my view, the 2008 cutscene is just way more atmospheric, and Hammond's dialogue is short and sweet and to the point, and he almost shows admiration rather than bragging to about the ship, about the Ishimura, to Isaac and Kendra. In the remake, Hammond literally walks up to Isaac and just starts bragging to him about the ship. I think it's so goofy, you know? Another notable change is that Isaac speaks. Now, I would say it's not the most controversial thing. However, what's controversial is the changes to the characters because of Isaac speaking. Isaac is an engineer who knows, quite a lot about ship systems and engines and such. This change makes Hammond a literal dumbass when it comes to anything except shooting a gun. There's a really great video from the creator of Dead Space, Glenn Schofield, and in it he talks about the sort of rules and guidelines or design principles they had while developing the game. One of them was to have a silent protagonist akin to Half-Life 2. One of the biggest challenges they had was actually upholding this rule. There's many times in development where they wanted Isaac to speak. However, to quote, it would change the way you would create dialogue. Because now you have to include dialogue for Isaac. Like I mentioned before, Isaac's dialogue is substituted for a lot of Hammond's lines. Thus changing Hammond from a soldier who knows a thing or two and commands his troops to the best of his ability to a mumbling idiot who has a love boner for this fucking guy Chen. And good God, we will get into this a little later because this is just so fucking ridiculous. What outrages me most about these changes, as in the original, Hammond is a steadfast, collected, however, at some points shows his humanity, his faults, especially later on in this chapter when he basically yells at a nagging Kendra to stop complaining and reroute power.
That security console's still live. Isaac, log in and see what you can find. Kendra, get that elevator back online.
How is he dead? I can't.
Then refruit the damn power.
I love that
Look,
sequence
if we all cooperate, we can figure this out a lot sooner. Let's get that computer display up, Isaac.
That sequence in particular, Kendra has just been bitching this entire time, and Hammond is just trying to remain calm, and he's just like had enough of her shit. He's like, just shut the fuck up.
My favorite pieces of dialogue in the game, and is honestly so missable as you're just basically walking through the station waiting to get to the next playable point. In the remake, Hammond is literally just a robot. Like, there's no readable expression on his face or even through his dialogue at most points.
Get the fuck out of here. You're getting in position?
Security detail.
Yeah,
Where's
don't
anybody?
me, pal.
There's nothing logged. No duty roster, no power to the elevator.
For God's sake. That security console's still working. Isaac, get a damage report. I'm done playing around.
Yeah, aren't we all, pal? I'm done playing around. But he said, I want to go home. I'm sick of this, man. I want to go home.
Shit, we're not even halfway through the first chapter, and I've already complained this much, so let's continue. We then crash into the Ishimura, and I'll say the 2008 version just feels way more hectic.
What the hell? Sir, the auto dock. What is it? We're off track. We're gonna hit the hull. Hit the blast shields. That guidance tether's damaged. Switch to manual, now.
Inside the magnetic field? Are you insane? Abort!
No! We can make it inside. Corporal, I gave you an order. Field's too strong. Is everyone okay?
What? What the hell were you thinking? Were you trying to get us killed?
I just saved our asses, Miss Daniels. If we had aborted at that speed and distance, we'd have smashed right into the side of the Ishimura. Now settle down, let's get to work. Corporal, report.
I'm not getting any readings from the port booster, and we've lost comms and autopilot. It'll take some time to fix.
All right, let's get some extra hands from flight deck to help out.
For the 2023, it feels like we just went down a small hill.
Jen, Johnston, take us in.
Gravity tether's engaged. Automated dock. Ready to go.
We're losing control.
Tethering function.
We're off course. Daniel!
Guidance system override isn't responding.
Shit, we're coming in too hot. It's gonna smash us into the hull. Jen, aim for that emergency stabilizer. There, the blue light. It might slow us down. Got it.
Drop the blast shield. Everyone break down. Everyone okay?
I'm good.
I'll live. Hey, Johnston, all right?
It's my ankle. Might be broken.
In 2023, there's a bigger emphasis on the two crew members that are aboard the Kellion, Chen and Johnston, I think her name is, or whatever the fuck. I don't freaking know. In the 2023 version, Johnston's ankle might be broken. So this chick Johnston's ankle is broken. No pain, no grunts, no expression of hurt on this chick's face or actions. She even says, like, when you're leaving the ship, like, forget something. Like, the calmest response in the world when your ankle literally might be broken. You're literally limping, actually. Maybe some expression, but she's literally limping and there's no palpable dialogue, I guess, of her in pain, which is just ridiculous. So we head inside to the Ishimura. The typical scene plays out and we get to the security console, check for the ship's damage. The ship's quarantine goes off. Chen dies in the remake. Okay. We will get to this in a bit because he's important. The elevator scene plays, which the necromorph gets basically chopped in half, which in both games I still think is a little too goofy. There's even a case we made here through the animation. The necro's animation in 2008 is so twitchy and unhuman that it's literally terrifying. In 2023, it's like they're stumbling around. It's kind of odd. I'll show some examples above. Get to the plasma cutter, a nice little cutscene plays in 2023, and in 2008 we just pick it up. Nothing to be said there. There is a point to be made here about cutscenes as well. We'll get into that later on. So after taking out our first necromorph, we head to the tram station and reunite with Kendra and Hammond over the wriggling feature. Kendra's performance in 2008 is phenomenal, and she's genuinely worried about what the hell these things, the necromorphs, are.
Isaac! Isaac! God, I can't believe you made it.
Isaac, we ran into more of them on the way over here. Are you okay?
More what? What the hell are those things? Is that the crew?
Keep your voice down. Whatever they are, they're not friendly, and half the doors on this ship are locked because of the quarantine. Now, we have to get to the bridge, but first, we gotta repair the tram system.
You're crazy, Hammond. You're gonna get us all killed.
If you listen to me, I will get you out of here alive. Now what's wrong with the tram?
The data board is fried, but there should be a spare in the maintenance bay. There's also a broken tram blocking the tunnel that needs to be repaired. Damn it! Everything is on the other side of this quarantine. We can't reach it from here.
No, we can't. But you can. Isaac, if I can get to the bridge, I should be able to access the personnel files. You fix the tram, and I'll help you find Nicole.
Through her tone, Kendra is almost distrustful of Hammond and defiant of him, as Hammond remains steadfast in not only the mission, but of the remaining crew, i.e. Isaac. If they can get to the bridge, Hammond can access the personnel files. He even states, "Help us fix the tram, and I'll help you find Nicole." Kendra just keeps complaining about literally everything, but Hammond remains an absolute Chad. It's kind of like the screaming lion and monkey meme, although it might be a little bit racist. Hammond is a fucking black guy. I didn't mean it like that, okay? Jesus. Oh my god. I've also noticed too that in the remake, there are a lot more F-bombs like everywhere. Like, I personally think that using these anymore is kind of weak, only really being suitable for the type of situation or story that you're trying to portray. Like we said earlier, Hammond is a steadfast, sort of great leader character. I could see Kendra using F-bombs more, but for Hammond to, it just makes him look, you know, like weak in a sense. In the first chapter alone, there are more F-bombs in 2008, I feel, because I can only really recall one time that both characters said the F word. And that is when Hammond is literally saying, F the CEC and F the ship, we are leaving. And actually, in the same chapter, Kendra uses the F word, which we'll get into later. It's just a very interesting correlation between both games, I think, in terms of writing. But on that note, God, this is so bad. His reaction to his crew dying, Hammond just shrugs, basically. And you could say in the original there is no real reaction, but Hammond is trying to keep his cool here, right? The only real time where Hammond is freaking out in the original is like when he's about to die and when he, when the fuck does Hammond freak out? I don't even know. I don't even know when Hammond freaks out. Hammond doesn't really freak out in the original.
Dust. They're everywhere. Shin, is he,
He's gone. Nothing I can do. What the fuck are these things?
Bro, I cannot, dude. I cannot. Did you see that motherfucker's reaction? Holy shit. That part alone sparked why I wanted to make work on this video. Holy shit.
Another small detail I picked up was actually the camera angle. If you notice in the 2008 version, the camera is in the rig link falls down slightly and is at an angle. This is because the camera is being projected from Hammond's wrist, his rig link cam or whatever. In the 2023 version, Kendra holds it up like she's vlogging or some shit. Not really a nitpick, but I kind of just found it to be interesting. On to repairing the tram car. Hammond in the 2023 remake calls you up and says,
Isaac,
Spooky,
don't bother
spooky
shooting those
time.
fuckers in the head. Doesn't even slow them down.
Okay. The only way is hacking them apart. Those arms, their legs.
which leads to a great point, Hammond. In the original Dead Space, shooting a necromorph in the head was actually seen as a bit of a punishment. If you shot their head off, or shot them in the head, it would leave the necromorph decapitated, but make them swing wildly and make them a little faster, incentivizing the player to shoot off another body part. If you perhaps shot the necromorph's head off by accident, that was on you. In fact, shooting the legs off a necro is more advantageous as it usually slows them down instead of shooting them in the head, which speeds them up. Testing this in both games, I have found that the 2023 remake doesn't have this for some odd reason. And I actually found in my testing in the 2008 version that necros can actually crouch down to try and avoid your shots. And they can actually crouch and run towards you to close the distance, which honestly, before even me testing this, I never knew that necromorphs could do this. It's just such a crazy system. I personally have never seen this before until I tested for it. I know that they can sidestep to avoid your shots, which is absolutely terrifying. And honestly, if you guys played COD Zombies, it reminds me of the Ascension map, where sometimes in Ascension, zombies can just like, you know, sidestep, and even they can even barrel roll, I believe, in Black Ops 1 Ascension, which is terrifying. I have never seen them crouch walk in the remake, or nor even crouch down to avoid shots. It's just a fun little tidbit that I discovered in the 2008 game. So after juking all the Necros in the 2023 remake, also, just look at how useless the plasma cutter is here. Punching them out would have probably done more. just another example of the decreased AI. So we are at the we're at the part where you're grabbing the tram circuit board. And in the 2008 version, if you attempt to run away from a necromorph, i.e. elevator running or running through a door, the necromorphs will actually follow you. Just watch this. Open the door, open the door, open the door, open the door. Use it! Okay, thank God. There was 3. There were 3 of them, right? Now they're all gonna come charging out of this door right here. He's running, dude! There's 2. Whoa. Albeit the room layout is a little different, i.e. getting there from 2008 to 2023. Regardless, the necromorphs don't follow you in the remake. It's honestly just makes them so much less scary in the game. Just to test the necromorphs following you, I did a little experiment right here where you're grabbing the tram circuit board. In it, I tried my best to avoid every necromorph in the arena, and I think I've literally counted at least like 9 or 10 of them. So after juking all of them out, grabbing the circuit board, getting out of there, and walking back to the location where you're supposed to go for the story, this happens.
Isaac, we can't stay here much longer. Hearing a lot of movement.
Hold on. I got this data for you. I'm coming back to tram patrol now.
Daniel, get ready to go. Anywho, you repair the tram, Hammond and Kendra hop on the tram,
Kendra distrusts Hammond in an amazing little cutscene in the 2008 version, of course.
All right, we're on board and heading to the bridge. Good work.
Strange. The quarantine just lifted.
Whatever was in the flight lounge must have left. That's lucky for us. Isaac, get back to the Kellion and prep it for launch. We'll find out what we can from the bridge and meet you there.
If we live that long, you're out of your league, Hammond. This is suicide. We're going to
Your
die
lack
out
of confidence in me is duly noted, Miss Daniels. But I have a mission to complete, and that's exactly what I am going to do, with or without you. Do we understand each other?
Just get us out of here alive.
In the 2023 version, I forgot that the Johnston chick with the broken ankle is still on the Kellion, and Hammond instructs us to go back to her and prep the ship for launch. I even managed to capture a necromorph in the little waiting area in the first chapter, which is hilarious. We'll get to that guy in a little bit. Heading to the Kellion, the Johnston chick blows the ship up while not reacting to the necromorph at all. She just blows the thing up. And you know the drill, the ship blows up in both games, and you head out, face a few necromorphs, and then Hammond calls you with an amazing piece of dialogue. After that whole sequence is done, in the 2023 remake, we actually see that necromorph that I captured in the waiting room. He's just sitting there. He's literally just sitting there. And it's so funny because there's a vent literally right next to him. And in the 2008 version, we would have already seen each other. We would have fought, right? It's silly. In the 2008 version, our two crew members are already dead. They died in the first sort of necromorph scene. Kind of nobodies, and even in 2023, they're kind of nobodies, so no worries about Chen. Again, Kendra doubts and worries grow to annoy Hammond. There's even a faint glimmer of hope in Kendra's dialogue at trying to find the captain's codes.
What the hell is happening down there? What happened to the shuttle?
That was our ride home. It's the only way off the ship.
Kendra.
No, Hammond! This changes everything!
Just let me think. Can you access the command computer?
It's no good. There's an executive lockdown of all primary systems. Without the captain's authorization, I can't access them.
Well, where's the captain?
Here he is. Captain Benjamin Mathias. Location, med lab. Status, deceased.
What? How?
I can't access that information. Find the captain and you'll find his rig. With his authorization codes, I can crack this computer wide open.
Damn it. Isaac, I'm sending the tram back to your location. Get to the medical deck and find that rig as fast as you can.
What was that?
Oh. I guess I had to kill them?
Isaac, what's happening down there?
Johnston's gone. Oh, the Kellion, too. The Singularity Core. Overloaded.
No.
No.
Was our only way home.
No. I'm not losing two good people for nothing. What about the command computer?
It's a brick. All the primary systems are locked down with the captain's codes.
So we find Captain Mathias. Track his rig.
Okay, here. Captain Benjamin Mathias. Location medical. Status deceased?
Even the captain? Oh, God.
Isaac, you're closer to medical. You can double back and cut through maintenance. Find the captain's body and get his rig. With his codes, we... What was that? Chen?
Hammond, run!
In the 2023 remake, I personally found that I was already getting really OP, as I had 3 power nodes plus the ability to get the second suit upgrade, which I got. In the 2008 version, I did have access to the suit upgrade, but only 2 power nodes, and I purchased the pulse rifle, which I put the 2 nodes into stasis and 1 into the pulse rifle.
Two things I want to bring up here. You'll notice that in the remake, there's no line gun in the shop or pulse rifle. That is because these weapons are found throughout the story instead of being bought in the shop. I personally despise this change, as it removes a lot of strategy and inventory management from the game. Going in, you have no idea what the good guns are and what are the bad guns. However, in Dead Space 2008, every weapon has a purpose. I'll explain them all right now.
The plasma cutter is a starting weapon, great for dismemberment, however, not good for crowd control or anything else right off the bat. With further upgrades, it can be a more effective weapon for precise shots, but starting out, it gets the job done. All around, a pretty capable weapon. The pulse rifle is undoubtedly the best weapon in the game for two reasons: the resource management gain and the use. Right off the bat, it suffers from the plasma cutter's flaw in that it needs some additional upgrades. However, the utilization is amazing. Being able to have sustained and automatic fire, it makes for a great stunning weapon and crowd control with its second fire ability, being able to fire in a wide area. I honestly really like the second fire mode, although it is very situational, but from a story/lore perspective, it really makes me wonder what this gun's second fire mode is used for outside of the game. It's really cool, it's really odd, but really good. And the amount of ammo you get per drop, which is 25, makes up for using the gun. The line gun is another really great weapon. It has great crowd control and shoots in a wide shot. Great for knocking off legs and arms, but it also has better pierce than the plasma cutter, with a second ability to shoot a landmine that does insane damage. There are also upgrades to increase the widths of shots and the damage of the landmine. The flamethrower, I'll admit, is probably the worst gun, but not in a bad sense, as it's almost a close-range pulse rifle in that it has damage over time, but you have to be very up close in order to do any damage. Its second fire ability, being able to place a fire field bomb thing in front of you, dealing damage. Combined with stasis, this weapon has really good potential. However, in zero-G environments, the flamethrower doesn't work. I mean, duh, there's no oxygen outside of space. Like I said, worst weapon, but not in a bad sense. You can get away with using this gun. The contact beam is the strongest weapon in the entire game, having high damage and a low fire rate, but being able to dish out a huge beam blast, knocking off almost any part of a necro, no matter the level, unless it's the Titan things, whatever. The contact beam's second ability, being a close range blast and knocks the necros away from you, I have found to be actually terrible. I don't think it does any damage, as when I would use it, it would use 2 to 3 shots, plus no visible damage to any necros. However, it makes up with this for its primary fire. The force gun is this game's shotgun. If you want space, this is the gun for you. Being able to keep distance with its primary fire and its secondary ability fires a little grenade that does great damage. I don't often use it as a mainly stacked pulse rifle, line gun, and plasma cutter, along with the contact beam, but it's really good if you want to keep necros at a distance. The Ripper is, I would say, a precise force gun in a sense, as it shoots a saw blade that is controlled by the mouse or controller at a certain distance, and it's a fairly close, I would say medium range distance from you. This is used to aim for specific body parts or limbs from necros, and you can almost see that with the mouse control, you can create like a nice sweeping arc to keep a lot of necromorphs away from you. The second fire mode shoots the blade without you controlling it, great if you're in a bind and need a shot just ring out right away. I will say the Ripper for me is a very middle of the road kind of weapon. I have used it occasionally, however, I feel I have more utilization with the line gun for this purpose. The ammo is definitely more plentiful for the Ripper, which is a plus, but in my opinion, I never really saw use for it. Now take everything I said about the weapons and throw that shit straight out the window, because the remake fucks everything up, since weapons act completely different and their roles are mismatched.
Now, I shouldn't say that every weapon has necessarily, lost its purpose, but for a good portion of them, a lot of them have been affected by the remake's new stun mechanic. Like I mentioned a little bit before, the plasma cutter just does not push enemies back. Same with the pulse rifle, the line gun, and every other gun in the game. I mean, take for instance the contact beam, which is radically changed to be a laser firing weapon instead of the big charge up blast shot. This weapon can't even push back the Valor necromorphs later on in the game. Look at this. So like I mentioned with the force gun, I think it may be the best option in the game now, as it can actually push necros back and keep them at a distance, as opposed to before where every gun could sort of do this, but Now they don't. And with every weapon gaining these unique little special upgrade sequences, these are pretty cool, but what I'll mention later on, how to get these is very annoying. So yeah, let's continue.
If you notice too, on the no to upgrade sections, you can no longer upgrade weapons to the max unless you have these special weapon upgrades. You scavenge a lot of these from secret areas and these master crates, which we'll get into later, but at points, and especially later on in the game, I was locked out from getting these upgrades unless I ran around the Ishimura like an asshole. But anyways, on to chapter 2. On to chapter 2. Probably one of my favorite chapters in the game, and if you actually noticed, they removed the subway transitions from the remake. Honestly, it's not too big of an inconvenience. I do like the 2008 transition. It creates a really nice, like, atmospheric scene, although it does get pretty lengthy and a little repetitive. It's like, for example, every chapter going on is a tramp sequence, somebody telling you something's wrong with the ship, and then you progressing onward to said objective. In 2008, we get this kinesis module off of this lady, and a pretty crazy cutscene, but due to whatever reason, her body just fucking ragdolls, leaving it to be an unintentional funny moment. Also, a pretty notable detail that I found in both games is Hammond's reaction to Kendra running away. In 2008, he is pissed that he lost Kendra. He almost scolds himself.
Isaac, are you there? We were attacked. Kendra's gone. 1 minute she was there, and I can't believe I lost her. We can still do this. Get me the captain's rig codes, and we'll find Nicole. Looks like the crew barricaded the door to the emergency wing. We'll have to blow through it to get to the morgue. Get some thermite from medical storage, and a shock pad from zero-G therapy. Should be down the corridor. Communication is useless in all this static.
But alas, he remains strong and dedicated to the mission. Whereas in the remake, he kind of brushes over the topic, like, "You see Daniels? I lost her."
Into this mode.
Isaac, have you heard from Daniels? We were attacked. She ran the other way.
No, nothing. Medical's a slaughterhouse. They barricaded access to the morgue.
The morgue?
Yeah, but the barricade was put together in a hurry. A hydrazine tank might float open. Just need a detonator, maybe a shock pad. Nicole could be through there if...
Isaac, the one who attacked us. I swear to God it was Chen. But I saw him die. If they barricaded the morgue, maybe it was to keep something in.
Ooh! Ooh! Also, there's a section here in chapter 2 where you have to blow the door to, I think it's the quarantine place or whatever. It says, if they barricaded the morgue, maybe it was to keep something in. Like, the necromorphs can't use the air ducts. Oh, I guess in the remake they can't use the air ducts as shown from before, so I guess it checks out. While we mentioned in 2023 that you cannot buy weapons in the store, you only get them through mission progressions, you get the pulse rifle here in the remake. And this is a very odd looking scene, and at first I thought my game was glitched, as if you notice here, it's the lady gets like stabbed in the heart by a necromorph's hand, but it looks like the object is glitched, and I thought it was glitched at first, but on doing research and watching videos for this game, it's the same thing across the board. So I don't know, might just be me, but it looks weird, it looks goofy. You know the drill, we have to snag the shock pad and thermite to blow open this door. Again, super small little detail here, right? With the dude smashing his head against the wall. In the 2023 remake, when you aim your weapon at this guy, your reticle turns green. Again, it's the super small details. This guy is clearly insane, and he's smashing his head against the wall, right? And green in video games usually means like good guy or ally. So what is the game trying to say here? That this guy is a good guy? 2008, it's at least respectable, as when Isaac raises his hand and you pull the trigger, he'll actually lower his weapon down. Now, if this guy charges at Isaac, he's still basically like weapon ready, but he can still see that, you know, perhaps this guy is okay, or, you know, maybe he is an ally, you know? But again, it's not immersion breaking. Whereas in 2023, it's like, this is the game's way of saying, don't shoot this guy. Anywho, this guy dies, progressing onwards to 0G, or if it's the 2008 version, you proceed to the research wing. In 2023, they changed the 0G movement, akin to the movement in Dead Space 2. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit neutral of the change. I get the jank that was like flying around in the original, while super jank, did have some charm to it. It was unique, to say the least. In the remake, they changed it to the Dead Space 2 flying, and I didn't really like the 0G in Dead Space 2, and I don't really care for it in the remake. However, I will say it does make it a lot easier to traverse the 0G environments in the remake and in Dead Space 2. So, yeah. Grab the 0G part in the remake and head to the research wing in 2008. Now, pay attention because, like I said, small details matter. Playing this game on your first go-around, you learn some things, being that dismembering Necromorph's legs is a fairly good method for killing them, as it slows them down and allows you to take a moment to aim. Heading to the research wing lockdown sequence, you discover that now, or have before, as you are bombarded with a horde of Necromorphs. Surviving that, you proceed downward to the lower level, coming across a crippled Necro and 3 others, one being the armored Necromorph. This Necromorph has armored legs, meaning that it can't be crippled. Along with that, it is a little larger than other Necromorphs, adding to the fear factor. But this scene alone is just brilliant. You're getting used to the combat, dismembering Necromorphs and everything, then this Necromorph with armored legs comes into the scene and fucks your shit up. This alone is just one of the many ways that the game almost deceives the player and tries to throw them off track with throwing new elements into the game. It's a really great system. This actually isn't in the remake, the whole armored Necromorph sequence, which I found to be a little disappointing, as I really love the sort of switch up that was in the original game. However, you get this tissue sample thing that gives you a side quest, so yay, I guess. These side quests are super okay and ultimately just act as giant backtracks through the Ishimura. However, 2 of the side quest rewards are pretty good, but again, they are very tedious and they're just side quests, so back on with the main story. Along with that, the armored Necromorph, comes our next enemy type, the Lurkers. An enemy type whose limbs can't be shot off. Instead, you have to aim for these enemies' barbed tentacles. The Lurkers are agile and deal range damage, and they can charge you for a QTE melee attack, which in the remake, I haven't seen all that much. However, in 2008, if you try to get in melee range with these little guys, they're going to pounce on you. And engaging in this QTE guarantees the kill, however, usually at a hefty cost to HP, depending on the difficulty.
Oh my god. You can just charge from it.
You also get one of the video logs, one of the first video logs in the game, and that is introducing us to Dr. Kine and the ship's captain, Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, Benjamin Mathias. This video log demonstrates a real concern or hesitation that Dr. Kine has about uncovering the marker that is being lifted from the planet Aegis 7. Now, you could write off the captain as a religious zealot, but I feel that his performance here in this game is notable. He is blinded by faith, misguided by the teachings of unitology, whereas in the remake, he has a lot of admiration towards the marker and is almost like creaming over it. And it may sound nitpicky, but I still prefer the 2008 version, as well with the character depictions. Dr. Kine's voice actor in this game is amazing. Hands down the second best character, right behind 2008 Hammond. Dr. Kine is a truly troubled man. Being the one who researched the marker, he alone has uncovered the reasons for why the Ishimura has fallen into disarray.
What in God's name is going on down there? I think that's precisely the point, Doctor. God's work. I'm not so sure of that. We have to assume that the colony's problems are somehow connected to the marker. You can assume all you want to. I do not. The marker is glorious and divine. You know that. God moves in mysterious ways. Anyway, we'll have it on board tomorrow. You can analyze it all you want to. What are you so worried about?
Worried? Captain, people are dying down there, killing each other. Is this madness, the transformation unitology teaches us?
Doctor. Terrence.
There will always be risk when the stakes are high. And here, they're enormous. It could change everything. And that's what worries me.
As one of the last survivors, he feels guilty for what has transpired, and he feels that he must correct his wrongdoings. Although we'll get into that later, as, goddamn, Kyne's performance here and lore goes so hard. Anywho, Matthias, in his resolve, attempts to reason with Kyne, using his first name and attempting to put his worries to rest by reciting the sunken cost fallacy.
Look, G, you're about 50 G's down on red. You know what they say, gamblers kid when they're just about to win big, so 100 on black!
To be honest, in 2023, their performance is just so lacking. Say what you want, but the voice actors have no real weight to any of their words.
Oh, look. Special. Oh. Hello, old man.
Ben, what in God's name is happening down there? Precisely that. God's work. How can you say that? These deaths at the colony, the paranoia, the hallucinations. You wanted a scientific analysis? Cause and effect? Well, it all began after they raised the marker. What are you so worried about? The marker is divine. We know this. Look, it'll be on board tomorrow. You can study it then. Put your mind at ease. At ease? People are dying. How can that be the transformation the teachings promise? We're witnessing a new beginning, Terrence. For unitology, for humanity. Of course our faith is being tested. Everything is about to change. That's what worries me. I'm recording. Seal entry.
It'd be like if they remade Infinity War when Thanos says, "I am inevitable," and he instead says,
"I will always be there, time and time again."
and a way worse voice actor. Their conversation doesn't sound normal or coherent, and they are trying to sound smart. Cause and effect? What is that doing in the line? Who gives a shit? Anyways, we proceed onward. I'll also mention real quick that in 2023 I was punching out Necros all the fucking time. Mainly a lot of my footage is like that, so yeah. Gathering both parts, vice versa in each game, we blow the door to the morgue to find the captain's rig codes. You engage in a nice little firefight with some Necros and proceed onward. You'll notice here that the locked node doors are also gone. They were always pretty fun as they were a bit of a gamble on whether or not you'd get good items. If you're willing to shill out a node, you would gain some ammunition or perhaps a sellable circuit board to recoup your losses. From my experience, getting the early node doors is almost always a bad idea as the gear isn't really spec'd to the point in the story as Ruby semiconductors don't really start showing up, thus not allowing you to get them. But 2023 they're straight up missing, which is just an odd exclusion. I thought they were a pretty novel idea, but the game just wants you to punch out every Necro out and then get super overpowered with unlimited nodes. And real quick, we also get the crazy lady jump scare. Also in 2023, for some reason, I'll get into this later, but the game runs like shit on my computer. I don't know what it was. I didn't change anything from when I last played it. You'll see the game, it loads up the cutscene and it's just like the textures load. It looks weird, but this jump scare it's just missing something. In 2008, it is so much more visceral. I mean, this dude is literally missing like his rib cage, like the flesh in his rib cage. It is really disturbing. Eventually, we get to the Captain mini-boss fight, and again, in 2023, there's a really oddly placed cutscene in here when Isaac tries to grab the rig from the Captain's body, an infector drops from the ceiling and turns the Captain into an upgraded necromorph. And there is a very good point to be made about cutscenes actually stating from the creator of Dead Space, again, Glenn Schofield. Take a listen.
Interactive moments. There are no cutscenes in the game. So we're trying to tell the story through, you know, his different logs that he has, video logs, but also what Isaac does. You know, one of the main things with this game was trying to come up with really cool, big interactive scenes because they're really complicated to make. One that we came upon almost made us break our rule because it was called the drag moment. And it was so hard that we almost just said, well, let's just have him drag Isaac and we'll just shoot. And it was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to break our rule just for one. And again, just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And so that was one of the things that we started doing was, okay, we're going to take on this hard problem, but it needed us to come up with a new solution on how to attack it. And that's when we came up with this idea of layering. After just kind of making a whole bunch of mistakes for a couple of weeks, we realized there's got to be a better way.
In my opinion, cutscenes are for very important parts in the story, like loading screens, endings, and such. The interactivity concept is very interesting to me, as this does take away from the player's interactivity. This almost makes it to where if you go to example B or example A in the story, or X, Y, and Z in the story, that you'll end up in some sort of cutscene and have control taken away from you. And in the Glenn Schofield interview, their philosophy was to have no cutscenes, to never take control away from the player. In 2008, you are practically helpless to do anything against the Infector turning the captain into a necromorph. Whereas in 2023, Isaac literally just like lays there and has the necromorph just like turn into a necromorph on his body. And the thing is too, with the fire extinguisher, Isaac grabs the fire extinguisher from somewhere and throws it at the necromorph to get away from him. But this is complete bullshit, as later on in the game, I tested this and it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything to the necromorph. It doesn't stun them, it doesn't take them back. They just keep on moving and try to kill you. It's bullshit. Anyways, this fight isn't too crazy in either games, as there are stasis canisters everywhere in the arena. You chuck one at them and punch them out, or cut them apart. The Infectors, I have noticed too, or at least I think, have more HP in 2008 than in 2023, as they feel so much more easier to kill in 2023 compared to 2008. Snag the rig codes. There's also this new system where once you get the captain's codes, you get the security level 2 access, so now you can open up level 2 chests. But I'll just be dead honest, it's so fucking annoying every time you open a chest and hear security clearance required or whatever. It's like, dude, in the original, this was never the case. It would just open up when you reach certain parts of the game. It's fucking annoying and it sucks. So at the end of this chapter in 2023, you head back to the Kellyan, and Hammond actually opens the blast doors or whatever to take you to the next segment of the map. In 2008, you hop on the tram and proceed onwards to chapter 3. On to chapter 3. We need to refuel the ship's engines and get the gravity centrifuge online so that we don't collide with the planet. Heading into the main engine room, we come across, I would say, a hub room of sorts, as we have the shop, the engine diagnostic place or whatever, and a save station. There's an audio log here from Jacob Temple in the remake as well as in the original. I'll say this is almost another big point of conflict in some circles, again with random people expressing sexual orientation.
Engineering log, Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple reporting. Still can't believe the chief is gone. It's all fallen apart since the captain died. Everyone down here is on their last nerve. We thought the rioting was the worst of it. So those things came through the vents. Their faces. Fuck, those were my lunch buddies, Liz's friends, old boyfriends. And out of nowhere, the engines are screwed. Primary's laboring, we're hemorrhaging fuel. Fuck if I know why. I'm taking Danvers to the fuel depot to fix it. Gotta keep the team focused or it'll crack. Temple out.
It's just not warranted, and honestly that I feel like it takes away from the atmosphere, but just injecting the game with current politics. There are ways of doing this, but in audio logs and in pre-established characters, it's just not it. Let's take a look at the main goal in Dead Space, in that we're trying to find our girlfriend Nicole. So with that in mind, why do we have any reason to care about any of these supplemental characters and what they do in their day-to-day lives? Our main objective is to get Nicole and escape. We are Isaac in this scenario. We are not just some blank slate sort of like Master Chief character or, someone else. In contrast, or I should say in comparison to this, let's take a look at Prey 2017. Now, you could even say the remake of Prey is a huge departure from the original, as it pretty much has nothing to do with the original. In Prey 2017, there's nothing really tying you to the world or the story, and through the gameplay and the audio logs, you uncover the characters and their day-to-day lives. You try to find any crew, but are met with these hostile life forms that don't resemble the crew and are alien and hostile. Take that, for instance, with Dead Space, in that you can see that obviously the crew has transformed into some sort of alien life. In essence, you wake up on a ship, have no knowledge or recollection of how you got there, and have to scour around and uncover what the hell happened to these people and their lives and what the hell they do. You are basically a blank slate in Prey 2017. Let's take a look at a character. We meet a character, Danielle Sho, who is a lesbian. We have a build-up and many different audio logs with her. There are psych-eval conversations between her and other characters, and other interactions that this character has. The reason why, honestly, I mentioned Prey 2017, is the right way of, injecting sexual orientation to a video game, than just having a character built up with many different interactions and audio logs. Someone that we can care about or at least have some background to.
The main point of contention really is that we have a lot more build-ups to this Danielle Sho character in terms of her character as opposed to Jacob Temple. And not only that, but we were injecting current politics into this remake that is so obviously for the times. I mean, take a look at the Halo remaster, right? Or remake, we should even say. It definitely just got updated graphics and such like that, but could you imagine if, for an instance, that like one of the Marines was just like, oh yeah, I'm gay now and whatnot. I'd just be like, wait, what does it do anything to the story? Okay, is this necessary? Like, not only that, but Jacob Temple is a pre-established character. It would be like, for instance, if the Halo comparison, if there was like an ODST remake that, Bucky came out as gay. It's like, what? It is so, like, just blatant injection of current politics in gaming. And the problem with this, my biggest problem, is that it's becoming more normalized, right? And it's not just the gay stuff. Like later on I'll even say, but this is, more towards this proportion. I don't care if characters are gay, but this is just raising a bigger issue of injecting current politics into video games. There's signs that says the ship is a shitty capitalist organization. It's just like, there's no mention of that on the original. With the Halo comparison, we have a story of religious beliefs going to the extreme, and we have, to a degree, the same story here, right? And the story is composed of characters that drive it forward, right? If we did not play as the Arbiter in Halo 2 and even in 3, well, I guess you just kind of play this as a sidekick, but more towards in Halo 2, we would not understand the Covenant's plight. We would not understand what their whole mission is. We are gearing more towards the actual these characters that don't have any sort of character to them, but more or less just, where they stick it. In essence, it's super frustrating. On that note, I do agree that for a lot of these characters, the sexual orientation is the major building block of their life. It's their whole personality. And it's just like, that's not a fucking personality trait. I could just go around and scream, oh yeah, I love pussy. And that's not a fucking character trait. I'm sorry. It's stupid. Like, what struggles did you overcome? What adversities do you face in your day-to-day life? What makes you you? It's like, as from a writer's perspective, we need to take this and just learn from it, right? I mean, you could even say Isaac's adversity is him fucking fighting all these goddamn monsters to save his girlfriend, Whereas with Jacob Temple, it's just like, he kind of does the same thing, but now he's gay. Forced injection.
Progressing onwards. Here is actually where you find the Ripper in 2023, but I actually missed it. And not until like around chapter 11 did I actually grab it, which again is frustrating as it's in the shop if you want to buy it in 2008. But also, I actually wanted to show you something. In the 2023 remake, I went back into the footage and really tried to look for the Ripper, but for whatever reason, it looks like it wasn't even loaded on my game due to the graphical limitations or whatever, the hardware limitations. Like, Keep in mind, I have played this game on max graphics before, and for whatever reason, there's just so many graphical issues that I was having. So we get to the refueling sequence, fuel the left and right portions, and then proceed on to one of my favorite parts in the game. In 2023, this sequence doesn't have the same vibe, especially with the updated graphics and lighting, in comparison to 2008, when the necromorphs stumble around and run towards you to meet you at the elevator. And it's genuinely terrifying as you are left helpless to do anything but watch. In 2023, it's hard to say, but it just feels off. This could be equated almost to like the fog in Silent Hill, where like almost less is better. Anywho, you do all the business over there. However, in 2023, Kendra reaches out to you halfway. Whereas in 2008, Kendra contacts you later on in the story. Meet back to the hub room and watch the unfortunate turning of a poor, helpless soul into an upgraded necromorph.
Hey, little man. How's it going? Yeah.
Onto the decontamination room, another really great part and a great example of 2008's audio quality.
Please stand by.
Oh shit! Oh, he's literally right on me.
You can hear the necros flopping their bodies in the vents and their eerie echoes and howls, and it's genuinely unsettling. In 2023, I actually like the effects a lot better, but the sound quality in 2008 is unparalleled. Move on to the centrifuge room. In 2023, you get a nice visual of the centrifuge running, which is kind of cool, not gonna lie.
They call it stupid. Man, that looks really cool.
Onto the tentacle grab, which is really cool in both games. Still a really great jump scare on initial playthroughs. Proceed onwards towards fuel storage in 2008, hitting the loud ass part.
That was louder than I was expecting. I'm out of here.
There's a pretty big section in here, actually, in the Glenn Schofield interview, where he's basically like, yeah, we just wanted a really loud ass part in the game. I'm like, okay. And in 2023, it's not that loud, which it's actually quite the positive, because this part is really annoying in the original. So, yeah.
Was the BART room, the BART train room. What that was Don Vecca was telling me one day, he's like, Glenn, I was going in the BART train. We went under the bay, and it's the worst sound in the history of man, or something like that. And I'm like, record it, you know? And so next day, he's hanging out the BART train, getting the sound when it's in the tunnel and everything. He brings it in, he plays it for me, and we have these really nice sound rooms. It was awful. It was like screeching, and I'm like, oh man, it's great, you know? Because what we were looking for is how can we scare people just with sound? No monster, no nothing. So you're in 0G in the game.
Finally, you reach one of the biggest reveals in the game, which is the organic growth on the walls. It's honestly such a crazy scene in 2008, and the gray atmosphere is palpable. It feels so cold and devoid of life in this room where life has flourished and grown uncontrollably. Compared to 2023, that has this odd orange glow to the room, it does take away from it. I feel it loses touch with what the original was trying to portray. Finally, then you run into these annoying ass little nodule things, which this will become a reoccurring thing in the story. Once these are shot, these open up new pathways throughout the game. And it honestly, and it might sound weird, it sounds very video gamey for a video game, you know? Something that I don't really like. Breaking through, you find the flamethrower attached to this dude who's just hanging out here. You slide by some goop, and the necromorph runs by you, and cheap-ass jump scare by this guy. Like I mentioned, this room just doesn't have the same vibe as 2008. It's just too orange and fungus-like. I don't know. Some may like it. I really don't. Again, it's just me. Another little side note as well, the little sentry guys right here, I actually find that in 2008 that they are unkillable adds to the sort of horror factor in 2008. The fact that these guys are in a perpetual torment of sorts, as opposed to 2023 where they are killable. In 2008 too, their screams, or just like moans, are just so unsettling. It's genuinely horrific. In the remake, you can literally punch their fucking heads off, which makes it so comical in a freaking horror game. Finally, we reached the engine room. If you're familiar with the demo in Dead Space, this is the spot you would start at. Taking care of the ambush that is the engine room, you are greeted by the pregnant necromorph that will spawn these little flappy necros once killed. As shown before on higher difficulties, these little guys can absolutely shred your health.
Run! Oh my god, no! 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 No!
Start up the engines and survive the onslaught that is waiting for this motherfucker to start up. In 2008, I'll admit the engine room looks a little cooler. There's fucking alarms going off and flames everywhere. Whereas in 2023, yes, it is bright and the engine room looks a lot more sci-fi, but I think the atmosphere isn't here. After refueling the Ishimura's engines, you have a conversation between you, Hammond, and Kendra. And in 2023, Hammond is such a dumbass. You think, you have to repair the engine. You have to refuel the damn thing, right? How could anything else work on the ship, reasonably, assumingly, right? And even in the first chapter, mind you, where you get at the ship's diagnostics, say, oh, a lot of things are in the red, or that's not good, she's taking a lot of damage, right? Hammond straight up goes, yeah, I'm gonna fly straight through an asteroid field. Kendra's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, yeah, asteroid field, what the hell? Hammond goes, that's what the ADS is for. Kendra, right away, the ADS system is offline. In a ship where everything is breaking and everyone's zombies, I mean, come the fuck on. Compare it to 2008, where Hammond is ecstatic at the good news. And it's probably one of the best pieces of dialogue. He goes, finally, some good news. Kendra just shuts him down. Yeah, it's great. Just watch this.
It's working. We're online and functional. Finally, some good news. Get a tram to the bridge, Isaac. I'm gonna take us back into a geostation.
Wait, we're not safe yet. Ship's asteroid defense system is offline. On the way up, the ship's going to pass through a debris field thrown up from the planet crack. We'll be ripped to pieces unless you restart it.
God damn it. I'll start working on it from here. Isaac, meet me at the bridge. You can do more good here than I can.
Isaac, you did it. The Ishimura's moving again.
No thanks to whoever sabotaged the fuck out of these engines.
You bought us time to figure it out. Autopilot's taking us into geostationary orbit.
Wait, you're flying us through the planet crack debris?
That's what the asteroid defense system is for.
But the ADS is offline. I've got the system readouts here.
Hammond, the Ishimura's in rough shape. A couple of bad strikes could finish her off.
Shit. Daniels, give me all the data you have. I'll try to adjust course. Isaac, you disable the tram lockdown from engineering. I'll open up the bridge station. Meet me there. We need to work on this together.
Also, in the 2023 remake, I had this really weird glitch where a lurker was in the shop with me, and when I finally took care of him and tried to leave, the map broke and had to load again, which was A super strange bug.
That's what I'm supposed to go through. There it is. Dude, what is up with this? Is it because I'm recording? Oh my god. Oh.
Again, by this time, in 2023, I had 12 nodes and basically nothing to spend them on in hard difficulty. Finally, progressing on to Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is all about getting the ADS cannons online. It begins with some seeds of doubt being planted. Here we learn of the artifact dubbed the Marker, and in 2023, it's, how do I say, let's just say the 2008 version is way better.
It sounds like you have better access from there.
When were you going to tell us about the artifact, Hammond? This marker?
I don't know anything about that. It's referenced in the captain's records. They brought it up from the planet.
It's on the ship?
In cargo. They think it's of alien origin, but I don't know what the hell it is.
Really? CEC didn't know anything about it. You're lying.
Back up! I am not the bad guy here. We're all shaky right now. You're gonna have to trust that I don't know anything about it.
Isaac, I'm looking at the ADS cannons. They're a mess. I'm gonna need your help. I am not losing the Ishimura. Not now.
The Ishimura, Hammond, or the Marker?
That artifact they found?
Don't bullshit us. CEC knew all along about the Marker, didn't they? Isn't that why you're really here? Corporate wouldn't send the Ishimura for some off-the-books mining. But alien technology, yeah, that fits.
And how does losing my team fit into this theory?
Hey, knock this shit off. We're into the debris field. We get the ADS back together, or it's over.
Then meet me at the captain's nest. Daniels?
Fine. But I'm going through the ship reports, Hammond. I'm getting some answers.
We meet up with Hammond, get intel on the ADS cannons, and proceed to our next objective. In 2023, Isaac actually takes his helmet off. Why? It seems a little odd. Again, the amount of times I have to stress the delivery just ain't there. Hammond's performance here is pretty solid in 2008, even a little funny.
Damn, you scared me. The place is making me jumpy. Fucking asteroids coming.
It's also here that in 2008, Hammond jettisons the pod with the necromorph in it. In 2023, Hammond jettisons the pod with Chen in it. Again, it's really hard to care about these guys when you know nothing about them. And Hammond almost has an emotional send-off with Chen. It's like, okay, Isaac literally says, I don't know you or Daniels that well to judge, so literally, why are we supposed to care or feel anything for Chen? Or for the other crew for that matter, like Johnston? We only know and care for Hammond and Daniels as they're the only ones left and are trying to at least improve the situation. It's here we also come across another mini-boss, the Brute. And in my first attempt in 2023, I actually died doing this. I tried to punch him out in 2023, and this happened.
Holy shit.
After killing the Brute in either game, you get access to another video log in the Captain's murder log, basically. I much prefer the 2008 video log, as it clearly shows the hysteria that is unfolded on the ship. Like, Kyne clearly kills the Captain here, like blatant murder, but in 2023, it honestly could be argued self-defense. It's also just comical how Kyne runs away from the whole thing. They can never find me, and bro just runs, like, what the Although, I will say, in 2008, if it wasn't obvious, the two people that are holding the Captain in 2008 are from the Kellion. They're the two crewmates from the Kellion, so, I don't know, it's just funny. Both scenes are comical, but for different reasons, I should say. In addition to that, in 2008, there is a Nicole hallucination in the node room, like armory section on the crew deck, which is missing for some reason in the remake. Also, no joke, when I was writing the script, I'll usually have my footage play in the background, and on the elevator here, there is a random scream that made me jump, so that was pretty funny. I could make a point that there is an objective indicator on the elevators on where to go exactly. In 2008, this isn't the case. You kind of have to guess on where to go, like level 2 or 3. Another case of hand-holding, I think, in the remake. Another odd choice here in 2023 as well is that they removed the one-shot electrical panels on the floor. I actually enjoyed using these to my advantage, and I have some very funny clips in 2008.
Oh, yeah. The poor bastard.
Here in 2023, you finally acquire the contact beam, it being a husk of its former self. I thought that the contact beam was fine as a heavy weapon with limited ammo, but here it shoots a continuous beam and the ammo is plentiful. But it's so stupid that there's no energy meter telling you how much energy is being expended per shot. You just see a little marker next to your thing showing you 1, 2, 3. Why did they change the contact beam to be a laser? It makes no sense. It should have an energy thing displaying that because it's so freaking confusing to see how much freaking ammo I'm shooting. I don't know. Fuck you. There's also this weird looking marker room in the remake. We'll talk about this later, but it's only really important in another run of this game. It's interesting to note that when you turn on the reroute power from the second switch, Hammond details his hallucinations, whereas in 2023, Kendra tells you about the MedSci reports from the Ishimura.
Okay, primary oscillation power has been rerouted. Look, I don't know about you, but I think I'm seeing things. My head's pounding still. I don't know. Just stay sharp, okay?
But literally the next sequence, Kendra has the same dialogue for you in 2008 pretty much. So they actually removed some character building from Hammond for some reason. Also, another removal from the remake is they removed the spacewalk to the ADS cannon, which I kind of think is lame. I actually like this part. It was pretty thrilling, although it ended up being just a big waiting game. Nonetheless, both ADS parts in the game are rather boring. I still prefer the 2008 version. Nothing or anything special. And you could argue the fact that the spacewalk is instead replaced with you actually going out into space, but... So, sink the ADS cannons and proceed on to the next chapter. If you're the explorer type here, you may have actually discovered this rig just hanging out here. This leads you to another side quest in order to get the master key of sorts to unlock those locked crates that you've been seeing all around the Ishimura. They'll sometimes contain goodies like semiconductors or weapon upgrades that allow you to upgrade your weapon further, but it's complete bullshit, and honestly, it shouldn't even be called a side quest, but rather a main quest, as you need these upgrades to upgrade your weapons further, and not doing it locks you out of further weapon upgrades. This fucking sucks. This is actually stupid. Keeping track with stupid shit, Isaac gets a call from Nicole, supposedly, and here, Isaac overwrites the main quest and guns straight to medical.
All survivors, please join us.
Nicole. I'm going back to medical.
Makes sense.
I'll head to the crew deck and look for survivors from the bridge. I'll be in touch.
Makes sense. So it makes sense that Isaac just stops trying to repair the ship and find his girlfriend? As far as I'm concerned, whatever keeps him alive for long enough should be priority number one. But for Isaac, he's led by his nuts, and Kendra nor Hammond here try to intervene. Contrast this with 2008, Kendra interrupts the celebration once more by stating the oxygen is dropping and something is poisoning the remaining air supply, which leads us to medical.
Wait! Isaac Hammond, you're not gonna believe this. Oxygen levels are falling. Something's poisoning hydroponics air production, and whatever it is, it's filling the deck up with that organic stuff. We're not gonna have any air to breathe soon. But if I understand these lab reports correctly, I think I can make a poison to destroy it. Head to medical. It should have everything you need.
Will this never end? Isaac, get to...
This is a much better driving force to lead us than Nicole's sudden intrusion and Isaac just going off on his own. I would say it would make for a better discussion if Daniels or Hammond intervened and said, Isaac, we have to get the ship up and running, or hey Isaac, we can look for Nicole after this. And then Isaac made up his mind and went to medical, but it's just silly that they feed into this delusion. Onward to Chapter 5. In 2008, we're heading to medical to pick up the materials required for the poison. In 2023, we're heading there to try and meet Nicole. I don't know. It's here that we are subtly introduced to the other antagonist in the game, Dr. Mercer.
You can't stand in the way of God's plan. The natural order. Are you blind like the rest?
In 2008. But in 2023, we have some wacky-backy banter between Isaac and Mercer.
Another survivor, at last. You'll be safe here.
Clearance confirmed.
Is Nicole Brennan with you?
You're not here for sanctuary, then? Well, Dr. Brennan's currently engaged. Shall I send you to her?
How about you unlock these doors and I'll find her myself?
Are you that selfish? You might let something in. Or out.
Shit.
So, you've decided to be difficult. Take a seat. I'll deal with you momentarily.
Guys, we were totally safe. Here, this guy's a doctor. Everyone on the Ishimura has been pretty cool, man. You see that guy badging his fucking head in earlier? Also, we're gonna trust anyone that's still alive on this ship. Some rather obnoxious banter ensues, and Isaac runs off because he's a little bitch. Mercer is another unfortunate casualty of the remake. While they got the likeness down in terms of his character design, he is a far cry from his OG self. In the remake, he has like a snarky, villainous attitude, whereas in 2008, he is more blinded by his faith and manic than thinking of clever rebuttals. We were also introduced to another enemy type, the Guardian Necromorph. In my opinion, the most disturbing Necromorph, as it literally just screams endlessly, like waiting for you to kill it. If you get too close to it, it'll also one-shot you, so you have to take it out from a certain range. You also meet it in 2023, but again, it just feels like it's missing something. Progressing onward, you obtain the sample for the poison. In 2008, the audio log here is insane, and the performance is just so good. It's so visceral and real sounding, the way the dude screams. It's genuinely off-putting.
You can't hold me here. Personal log, Dr. Charles Mercer. I now have a live subject for my study. I'm eager to validate my tissue regeneration theory. Initial restraint was problematic, but now the patient's resting comfortably. He trusts me, Dr. Kite. He puts his life in my hands. He knows his part in all of this, understands what I'm doing. The forehead has been swabbed clean and marked. What are you doing with that? And I'm now attempting to create a passage to insert the sample tissue into...
In the remake, the audio log is okay. The new direction with Mercer is it's a fitting audio log, but 2008 Mercer comes off as way more villainous than in 2023. He's cocky and almost charismatic in a way, and it feels silly in a sense.
There. I have to record these days. The old memory, you know. As I was saying, the new treatment I'm developing should be just the ticket. The trial is very promising. Trial? You'll be back at your post in a jiffy with CEC none the wiser. Unless you don't trust me. No, of course I trust you. Let's give it a shot. Volunteer 9 is a young male testing my new tissue regeneration formula. I expect death within the hour, but the changes to the vascular system are very promising. One moment for the cleanup. For the last time, get a trauma team in here. Yes, I called 3 times. My patient is crashing. Get off your smoke break and help me.
However, the most obnoxious example is the cutscene that follows this chapter. In 2008, there's almost no cutscenes. However, in 2023, they added a whole bunch. In 2023, Isaac comes across the message that is being sent to everyone in medical, and in 2008, we get the poison. In both games, we are ambushed by Mercer. However, in 2023, Mercer hits Isaac with a stasis shot, temporarily immobilizing him. Now, I'm all for the game using its in-world mechanics, but this is a complete loss of control in terms of gameplay. We are quite literally frozen And per the game's rules, we could be frozen by the villain at any time. And later on in this cutscene, the hunter awakens behind you. So why doesn't Mercer just freeze you and let the hunter kill you? It makes so little sense. It takes away from a great villain from the original. This is by far the most annoying part for me in the game. It takes away so much. It makes him look like such a dumbass. But in reality, like, Mercer freezes you for such a long time. I think even with a fully upgraded stasis module with like all the upgrades to duration, he freezes you longer than the extended duration upgrade. It makes a little sense, and you could argue the fact that he's a doctor and has an upgraded stasis module, but fuck that! That's so stupid! That is a terrible, terrible decision. It's just shitty plot devices used for shitty cutscenes. And of course, Isaac breaks out of the stasis as Mercer leaves and the hunter awakens. And it feels so video gamey and like on time. It's so fucking silly. It takes away so much. In 2008, the use of no cutscenes adds to this scene, as again, you are helpless to do anything, but there is no narrative or game mechanic holding you back from the loss of control as in the remake. In both games, you run out and leave the hunter to fight as this bastard constantly regenerates. Leaving the area in 2008, Hammond goes off and tries to fix the hydroponic situation himself. However, in 2023, he just up and leaves. And in 2023, the hunter tweaks the fuck out my footage right here.
Stop fucking running from me.
Holy fucking hell. What was that?
Finally, after escaping the hunter into the emergency room, of course Mercer says some stupid shit over comms.
Unwise, Mr. Clark. My hunter may regenerate, but he takes an attack like that personally.
Whereas in the original, you actually see Mercer in person. And dude, his freaking dialogue is so peak. Man literally says, say your prayers with the haunting echoing of the hunter behind him, like solidifying in your mind that that thing isn't dead, but merely waiting, hunting, as its namesake is, which its name isn't even blatantly given to you, like in the remake where he says, my hunter takes an attack so personally. Like, God, holy shit, do I need to convince you that the 2008 version is way better? Have I not done that already?
Your persistence surprises me. Holding on to your final breath, you claw your way along. You hold on to what was once your world, but now belongs to the children. Be glad of the knowledge that your death will bring their birth. Listen. Can you hear it? It's coming. Say your prayers.
You reach the emergency room, face off against the hunter once more, pass by another guardian, and on to a creepy ass lady in the corner. And in 2023, the same sort of audio log from way back in 2008 is recreated, but again, it does not have the same aura as the OG.
Surgical log, Dr. Charles Mercer, tissue regeneration experiment 5. The children of the marker, kind necromorphs, have provided all the material I could ask. And the infector variant has provided a key insight. Implanting the material directly into the brain renders optimal results. Of course, that requires puncturing the frontal bone just above the glabella.
Please, please, no.
Don't worry. It's been sterilized.
Along with, again, another great audio log in 2008 where Mercer talks about the tissue regeneration and also Kind's dementia. The best delivery as well, mind you.
Person log, Dr. Chalice Mercer. The specimen continues to respond well to my experiments. Its cellular fortitude, not to mention elasticity, is remarkable. Dr. Kind, I'm sure, would disapprove. But I do not anticipate that issue as the good doctor is busying himself with the marker. As if that matters now. He has also succumbed to the same dementia that afflicted the colony. Only yesterday he told me he had spoken to his wife, but Amelia Kine has been dead for some years. My subject grows restless. Patience. Your time is soon. Very soon.
Where Dr. Kind has concerned himself with the marker. In 2023 also, we'll get to this. Oh my god, we will get the Kind in 2023. Whew. He just ain't it, man. He just is not kind. Get to Mercer's office in the remake as well as in the original, and it's just a downgrade from the OG. I mean, oh my god. In 2008, he collects heads in jars, man. That is legitimately horrific. And in 2023, he just has a corpse of an infector in his office. Like, holy shit, man. It's here in the remake too, we learn of the poisoning that is happening in hydroponics from this goofy ass looking dude. Holy shit, why does everybody in this game look so fucking goofy? In 2008, you snag the components to create the poison, and here Mercer actually springs a trap on you, venting the room of oxygen. A much better narrative device, as it shows that Mercer is competent of trying to kill you, but he's not some godly force that can freeze you for 5 minutes. After restoring the oxygen, you head to the cryo storage lab to grab some liquid nitrogen and face off against the Hunter one last time. I will be honest, Mercer's dialogue in 2008 gets a little repetitive, but you could argue the claim of hysteria happening on the ship and yada yada yada. 2023 actually had a nice twist of dialogue here. That's probably the first bit of praise I've actually given the game. You freeze the Hunter, and I actually really like this twist as it kind of shows that you didn't really take care of the Hunter, but only merely slowed him down. Also in 2023, you get the Hunter tissue sample part of the tissue sample side quest. In 2023 also, after the Hunter is stopped, is the only mentioning of Hammond's disappearance. So, Chapter 6. Towards the end of Chapter 5, we heard tales of hydroponic being poisoned, and I actually really like Isaac's dialogue here, stating that the air smells like something is rotting. It's a pretty cool visual and gives us something to kind of go off of. In 2008, you actually run into Hammond on the way to hydroponics, who attempts to provide you support, but can't due to inhaling the poison air in hydroponics. In 2023, you run into a recording of the ugly ass Dr. Elizabeth Cross. Goddamn, dude. Why the hell is everyone in this game so freaking ugly? Holy shit. It's almost comical how many freaking ugly people are in this game. Now, the inclusion of Dr. Cross is something I feel indifferent about as well. On the one hand, her audio logs from the original are practically missing, but her twist at the end is pretty well done, which we will get into later. In the remake, you create the enzyme and head off straight to inject into the Leviathan. However, you are contacted by Cross. During this audio log, Cross instructs you to kill the... Dude. Hold on, is that their actual name? You have to kill the Weezers. You know, some things are better left unnamed, I think. God, dude, that's such a stupid name. I didn't even know they were called that until this game. So, after being instructed to kill the Weezers, Cross tells you that the Weezers are connected to the Leviathan, and the poison should harm each Weezer, thus killing the Leviathan. How would she know? I don't know. And also, why are we trusting this woman? The last person we ran into clearly tried to kill us, and this person just contacts us and we're trusting her? I don't know. Did you see the guy smashing his head against the wall? In 2008, we have to destroy the Weezers to bring the air quality up to unlock the door to food storage. Here we could argue that it's more of Cross's pride or intelligence that she knows that this will kill the Leviathan, whereas in 2008, we have to kill these guys just to get into food storage. So survive the onslaught that is hydroponics in 2008 and stomp these little motherfuckers to death. In 2023, you have to inject these Weezers. Dude, that name is fucking horrific. With the virus in a pretty weird animation. You also have to do this like 12 times, which is pretty annoying. You also find the force gun here, but you could have bought it in 2008 already. After that, nothing much eventful happens when you inject the numerous Weezers in the remake. Oh my god, that actually scared the shit out of me, holy fuck. I was not expecting that.
While in the 2008, you're trekking back to the Leviathan, you undergo the tentacle section and the brute fight. You also get this stupid log about Cross crying about her crew in the remake that sucks ass.
Like, why should I care about these Weezers? Who I stomp the fuck out of? I mean, seriously? Like, holy shit. She's just... This is so stupid. This log sucks.
Liz Cross. Hydroponic. I need to record their names. Hidaka. Holly. Andanov. Mark. So many. I don't know how much gas they took in. I just saw them change. That crack when their lungs turn down like flowers.
Zero gravity.
Jacob.
Entering zero gravity.
I love you. And I'm so scared because I know how to kill the Leviathan. So I have to stay until it's paid for every single one of them.
I saw their chests burst out like flowers! Like, who talks like that? You're in like a life or death situation, and you're like, let me think of a good, what is it? Alliteration? Yeah. I don't know. A simile? Comparing something using like or as? I fucking forget the terminology.
Finally, we get to the Leviathan fight. Isaac gives some wacky quacky dialogue about bad ideas, and we head into the fight. In 2008, we get an okay audio log from the OG Cross, and off we head into the Leviathan battle. I will say the remake changed the ADS canon segment and a later fight coming up, but for this Leviathan fight in particular, it really felt like it was designed for the 2008 grab mechanics in mind. As the Leviathan kind of shoots out a tentacle and sweeps the area in a 360-degree arc, kind of like you're like taking like a chip and like dipping it in hummus, and yeah, or something like that. Yeah, getting kind of hungry now. Either way, the fight is good, nothing like too crazy for the remake and the original, although I will say, given like, just from like a story perspective in both games, that this fight is a little odd. Just that like Isaac is kind of like a standalone engineer, not a soldier, not like a warrior. He's like one man going up against like a fucking massive monster. Like I feel like the hunter encounters are a lot more fun and practical given the story. And the Leviathan fights are pretty crazy, but again, nothing too crazy. I will say that it felt a lot harder in the 2008 version, just with the jank zero-G movement. But the remake with it kind of expelling the gas, it's pretty cool, but nonetheless, you know, pretty good fight. And with that, the Leviathan is killed. Cross says some insanely cringing dialogue.
And lo, you crushed the heads of Leviathan. He will be meat for those in the wilderness. Thank you, Isaac. Come back inside. We should talk.
Dog.
Whew, that was bad.
Okay, I'm fucking dead. Step back up! I'm still in the fight!
Cross then instructs us to grab an SOS beacon from the mining deck. In 2008, Kendra says just about the same thing, minus the cringy dialogue, but tells us that she is unable to reach Hammond, which leads us to... Bursting into Chapter 7, we gotta attach an SOS beacon to a rock and shoot it off into space. In 2008, my game crashed here for whatever reason, but it's not even comparable to the amount of bugs that I've had in 2023, so yeah. Also, I am on the floor now, so yeah. There's actually an added laser trap area in the remake, which is actually pretty unique, and I would have loved to see more of this in the original game and in the remake. Also, another good audio log of a miner coming into contact with Harris, and Harris shoving him into a suit upgrade station.
Security request retrieved.
Security, we got some freak called Harris stealing from ore storage. Dr. Mercer sent me for us to complete his work. Yeah, I don't care if God Almighty sent. You skim from CEC's profit margin, we get screwed. God. So, you can put that osmium down, or I can break your arms first.
I worked with people like you on Aegis 7. They'd steal my power nodes. Leave me to dig with no light.
Hey! Get off me!
But when they abandon you in the dark, it's not empty. The marker whispered its revelations there. Now I understand them. Do you want to hear?
Warning. Untrained personnel may not use suit kiosk.
No, stop, please!
I said please when they shut me in. Screamed it too. I promise I won't laugh like they did.
Warning. Suit kiosk is obstructed. Serious injury may occur.
Oh, God! Help me!
Incident report filed to Bridge by Dr. Nicole Brennan. See related rig activity.
Okay, so I can't find any footage of Hammond coming back, but I have this clip of Hammond coming back in Chapter 7, and in it, he sees some unitologists carrying the marker somewhere. This is never brought up again, up until when we see the marker up at, like, Chapter 10, which is just the most odd thing, because you'd think this would be a main story premise of some other unitologists being alive on the ship, but they're just not mentioned again after this point, and Hammond just sees them in an event and doesn't make any further attempts to contact us. Like, if we take an instance in Dead Space 2008 where Hammond is trying to contact us and then Kendra says, "I lost his signal again." This is inferred later, but I will talk about this later actually in the video, that Kendra is supposedly blocking Hammond's signal. So it is a very weird scene. And then coming up through Chapter 8, we'll also see the inconvenience that we caused Hammond, in that he's not desperately trying to reach us.
There's also a T-pose jump scare here in the remake for me, which just adds to the enormous amount of bugs that I had whilst playing this game.
Who is
Dude. Fucking terrifying. Actually terrifying.
Seriously, I don't know what it was, but for some reason on my specific playthrough of me playing the remake, there was just insane amounts of glitches and bugs. Like, I don't know if it was because I was recording with OBS or maybe my PC is going. I have no idea, but the amount of glitches I encountered were numerous, to say the least. And for some reason, in Chapter 7, in the remake, the game makes you backtrack like 3 times to this area in engineering. It's genuinely frustrating. So in the remake, you hit the subdeck for processing, you come across the video log of Jacob Temple. In it, he says he's going to look for Mercer, who has planted a clever little trap for Jacob Temple. Sneaky villainous behavior. Here is actually one part of the remake that I feel actually captured the spirit of the original. The screaming in the background and the lighting, it was all just really good. And yeah, I was genuinely impressed. So kudos to the remake. There's also the funny error in 2008 where Daniels mistakes your kinesis module for the kinesis gun, which it always made me chuckle. It was like, well, what were they thinking, you know, when they were making this game? Were they gonna make a kinesis gun at one point? Was the force gun gonna be the kinesis gun? It always got my mind kind of racing, and it was always something really cool that I never really sort of, you know, thought of. And I was just like, wow. Some super hidden detail we forgot about in this game because of that. I don't know. It was just a cool little error, I think. I'm rambling on. Anyways, I digress. After some goopering around, you get to the workshop where the beacon is stored and run into Nicole. Not happy to see the 2023 version, but 2008, baby, honey, I'm coming. A defense situation ensues, and if Nicole was played by a voice actor who actually gave a shit, this scene may have actually been heartfelt.
Oh my god, I can't believe you're here.
I thought I'd never see you again. I'm gonna get us home. There's an SOS beacon nearby. We can call for help.
The beacon, right. They locked it in the workshop, but my clearance can get us in. This way.
Isaac? Is that really you? It feels like it's been so long. But I can help you now. Come with me.
I also feel like this was way easier in the remake, and I felt like there were a lot more necros in the original game. Nicole says some wacky quacky banter about you being a surgeon with those tools. Thanks, Mom, you're awesome.
It's open. I've never seen you at work. You're a surgeon with that thing.
I got your back. Okay. How do I reach you?
No, focus on launching that SOS beacon. There's maintenance ducts everywhere. I'll catch up.
You see any more, you hide, okay?
Cross my heart. I love you, Isaac. You can do this. You'll put things back the way they were. And make us whole again.
Okay, the door's unlocked, Isaac. I can't get over to you, but I'll find a way. I love you. This will all be over soon.
Small little editor's note right here. If you can't tell already from just the differences between the remake and the original, it's just night and day. Like, in the remake, Nicole is very almost stern and cold, it almost feels like. Whereas in the original, it's just, her performance is so soft and sincere. The I love you, it feels like a sharp dagger, a sharp, like, soft dagger, if that makes any sense to, you know, to the player. I mean, just watching it back from my perspective, at least. I don't know. Say what you want. But, yeah, back to the video.
Afterwards, you nab the SOS beacon and get it ready to send off on the big-ass meatball. Daniels contacts you afterwards in both games, stating that she lost your signal. And I actually like this banter between Kendra and Isaac when Isaac tells her that Nicole helped him out. It hints at the reveal later, but for us veterans of the series, it's a cool little detail.
I lost your rig signal, like Hammond's.
I'm good. I got the SOS beacon. Nicole helped me out.
Nicole's there.
We got separated. She'll find her way back.
She's a trooper, huh?
I'm heading back to the mining control room. I'll launch the beacon. You watch out for Nicole.
Assuming the system doesn't fizzle out again. Stay sharp.
You return to the mining control room, again to click a button, then head back to the meatball in the remake. I will say too, the machinery holding the asteroid looks pretty cool. They definitely did update the textures in the models, which was pretty cool. And wow, I'm giving the game some more credit. This is amazing. You hit the 4 anchors holding the asteroid, plant the beacon, die, shoot the 4 anchors, plant the beacon, then head back to the mining control room, die again, then head back to the mining control room. And finally, ship the friggin' asteroid. However, a quarantine lock actually goes into effect in the mining control room, and in the remake, the hunter ambushes you. And in the original, it's just a bunch of random necromorphs. I actually like this change. It actually adds a lot more attention to this scene. Wow, am I liking the remake? Am I wrong? Of course not. I'm never fucking wrong. This game fucking sucks! Afterwards, Kendra connects with you about seeing her brother, which again leads us to our next objective. But first, we gotta get the hell out of here. No hunter, though, in 2008. After surviving the quarantine lockdown, we finally head off into our next endeavor. In the remake, I decided to do the You Are Not Authorized subquest, which was basically a bunch of backtracking through the Ishimura to find some dead guys' rigs to create this master key to unlock those little crates. So I'll just skip to... Chapter 8 is definitely, I think, by far my favorite chapter in the game. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, in the remake, Kendra says this.
We did it. Isaac, a ship just shocked in. The USM Valor. They must have heard our
That
SOS.
fast? What's a military ship doing way out here?
Out on patrol? Whatever, right now I take a rescue from a fucking magpie. Head for communications. Once we fix the comms array, we can get all the answers we need.
Take a rescue from a magpie? What is a magpie? Maybe lay off him, sweetheart. You're looking a bit big yourself. Jesus. From the laser trap from Chapter 7, I actually had a lot of fun with the line gun's new secondary fire. If you notice, the line gun now shoots like a laser trap instead of the regular kind of explosive mine in the original. And it's actually kind of fun to play around with. I will say, though, that in the original, it did a lot more damage just in one specific blast. However, in the remake, if you upgrade it, if you manage to find the upgrade, that is, you can actually place 3 laser traps at a time. And you can actually place these on objects and move the objects around with kinesis and basically just create like this laser, this almost contact beam laser gun. It's actually pretty cool. Wow. Another really good feature of the game. Oh well, that was fun. Moving on. I died quite a lot in the bridge sequence just because there's so many suicide bombers. It's just insane. Anyways, after that, you were blocked by 2 guardians. In the 2008 version, this is actually where you run into the Divider Necromorph, a really crazy enemy type that will split into multiple enemies when he's taken enough damage. And this scene is so great. The haunting howls are just so bone-chilling, and the presentation here is just so freaking well done. To see this tall, slender necromorph come out of nowhere, and even when he does spot you, he gets like a little shriek and gets faster and starts just charging towards you. It is horrifying. In the remake, on the other hand, I do not know why this game is so freaking buggy and just destroyed. I should have mentioned in the original that when you first come across Divider, there's a guy that's like, you know, dying on the ground, and he dies, and then Divider comes out. In the remake, for some reason, this guy was just frozen in place like this. And I was just done. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this game? So, yeah, make of that what you will. It is also here in the remake where you come across the most broken upgrade in the game, and that is for the plasma cutter and the weighted blades. These babies knock down any necromorph that is meleeed by your plasma cutter straight up to the ground, and honestly just turns this game into a fighting game. I mean, just watch this. Also, this happened.
Yeah, I'm fixing the elevator, guys. Elevator maintenance. It's all part of the plan.
Literally within like the same time frame of me picking up the weighted blades, again, I want to say too that this was I think this happened due to me running away from a necromorph, right? In these games, I run away from a lot of necromorphs because I don't want to expend my resources on, common enemy types when I can just run away from them and deal with them later, perchance, right? And I ran away from this necromorph, and it like followed me into the elevator and got stuck, and then the elevator stopped working. It was very odd. So, yeah. Take care of the dividers and finally make it to the comms array, which this area is just peak. It's so cool. This soundtrack alone is probably one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. The heavenly chimes that just fit the atmosphere and the scene so well. You're basically calling for help, like eager to get out of this dire and horrific situation. And when you finally link everything up and finally send the distress call out to get off the ship, it's just so good. And even the audio, or I should say the sound design, even the theme before this with the radio chatter, it's all super cool. Like throughout the game you hear these whispers and sort of messages, but like to hear like actual radio chatter, it's not like Isaac hallucinating. It's literally like, transmissions being sent back and forth. Super cool. Also, this shot alone is just crazy. It looks insane. I don't even know what to say except, goddamn, it looks freaking incredible. The 2023 remake doesn't even hold a candle to this. There's another weird video log with the captain being weird. I mean, honestly, does everyone have to say that they're the bad guy in like every instance? After you send a distress call, a ship picks it up dubbed the USM Valor. After you clear the blockage, the USM Valor is able to receive your distress call. And they said that they pick up your escape pod that Hammond jettisoned a while back. You probably know where I'm going with this. The escape pod was open and completely wreaks havoc on the ship. Again, with the performances, with the voice actors, I have no idea where they get these guys, but this guy is, dude, am I wrong? He sounds like a fucking voice actor for an anime, like an English dub of an anime. I mean, I could be wrong, but like, dude, it sounds so freaking goofy. I don't know what it is.
This is USM Valor, broadcasting on all frequencies to USG Ishimura in response to your SOS. We've picked up your escape pod number 47 and are en route to your position. This message will repeat every 30 seconds until you respond.
I actually really enjoyed the Valor's previous sort of voice actor performance because you could interpret it two ways. You could say it's like they're kind of they're used to this. This is their protocol. This is their job, right? Or that they're kind of like almost like the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 1 and 2, where like they're lax. They don't really want to meddle with their affairs. They're kind of almost lazy in a sense. It was a very interesting interpretation. He's like, yeah, this is the USM Valor. We have received your distress call and we are awaiting your message back. We have got your escape pod and whatever, and we will repeat it every 30 seconds. Peace, whatever. I thought that was a very interesting sort of interpretation of the ways you could sort of decipher the message, the voice actor performance. So,
this is USM Valor, widecasting on all frequencies to USG Ishimura in response to your SOS. We've picked up your escape pod, number 47, and are en route to your position. This message will repeat every 30 seconds until you respond.
I really love Kendra's reaction to the 2008 version. She is genuinely pissed off and distraught. Like the USM Valor, the ship that we've been trying to call for help for, picked up the escape pod with a necromorph in it. Just the drastic turn that has happened from just like the highest of highs back down to the lowest of lows in every possible turn in this game. It is genuinely amazing. Kendra verbatim says,
Isn't that the escape pod Hammond jettisoned? One of those things was on board. No. No, this isn't going to happen. USM Valor. Come in, Valor. Our signal isn't strong enough. I'm going to open the blast doors to boost the signal.
Error. Blast door blockage detected. Please contact a repair technician.
Shit! Isaac, there's something big on the hull of the ship, directly above the comms array. Something organic. I don't know what it is, and I don't care. We have to get the doors open to transmit to the Valor. You should have a clear shot from ADS Cannon 48. Get to the cannon and blow it out into space.
No stupid Leviathan name, no Weezer, no Puker, no Jizzer, no Gooter, no stupid ass names that necromorphs. These people have come up with these necromorphs, right? It's just I don't know what it is. I don't care. I want it off the ship. You encounter the Leviathan once more, and they actually changed this fight in the remake so that your guns sync with the ADS cannons like before. In this, you shoot your ADS cannons at the Leviathan's rock things. Honestly, it is a minor improvement to a turret section, but I mean, you're upgrading a turret section at this point, right? So, I mean, yeah, I will say it is definitely more climactic than the original fight, but it's not saying much. There is a part 2 where the Leviathan, once taking enough damage, releases these little spores all over the map, which is actually pretty cool and makes for some fun traversal. So, wow, another good point about the remake. It's like almost like it's not that bad. Anywho, Leviathan's taken care of and the antenna is released, increasing our communication output, and it is discovered that the Valor opened the escape pod. They also recorded it, which was pretty cool in their part. We get to see him die. Also, this is probably, like when I said, one of my favorite chapters, including the best scene of the freaking Valor coming into frame and actually colliding with the Ishimura. It's so good. Also, this is probably like my favorite scene in the entire game, so I'm just gonna let it play out in the original.
USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura. Come in. Do not open the escape pod. USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura. Come in. Do not open the escape pod. Damn it! Respond! Why did they open the pod? Damn it. Oh my god. It's headed right for us. Isaac! Isaac! Fuck out of there!
Wish I could just talk to someone.
The way this ship comes into view as well is just so good, and Kendra's reaction is genuinely panicked. She's like, get the fuck out of there! And it's actually one of the few instances where Kendra uses the F-bomb in the game. And I don't know if it's just me, but I definitely feel like in the 2023 remake, this scene is just so anticlimactic. It's just like a bright flash, your ship crashes into you, and that's it. In the original, the ship crashes into you, it's a bright flash of light for a few seconds, and Nicole's message plays for a little bit, which wakens you up. But then it switches back to Hammond, who finally gets in touch with you.
Yes, finally! USM Valor, this is Kendra Daniels on the USG Ishimura. Do not open the escape pod. Repeat, do not open that escape pod. Do you read? We're too late.
The Valor!
It's heading right for you!
Brace yourself!
Cold collision in
I will say, though, the fact that Isaac calls out for Nicole in this scene where he thinks he's going to die when the Valor crashes in, It's not bad. It's actually pretty cool.
And this scene alone, and Hammond finally being in contact with you, he's almost wounded in a sense. He's just like, oh, I finally got in contact with you. Someone must have been jamming my rig link. And in 2023, it's just like, it's just like we just like inconvenienced him. You know, he's taking a shit. He goes, Daniels, what was that? Like, what the fuck? Another key note here is that Kendra could be jamming Hammond's signal throughout the story. It's kind of hinted at in the original, as you got Mercer, Kine, and I guess Cross isn't in the game, but Hammond as well. But Hammond has no reason to betray you, whereas, you know, the end of the game, it's pretty obvious. But it also makes a lot of sense knowing Kendra's character in the original, which makes this getting in contact with Hammond scene in the original that much more interesting. And I don't know if it's just me, but in the 2023 version, is Hammond still in contact with Kendra from this? This is just like, and Hammond's delivery here, like I mentioned before, is such a great delivery. This is one of the rare times that Hammond actually curses in the entire game. F the CEC and F this ship. We are getting out of here. You know, it's such a great performance and so well earned, it feels like, after everything they've been through.
Isaac. Isaac, are you there? Thank God you're all right. I've been trying to reach you. Someone's been blocking my rig signal remotely. A crash must have interrupted the signal block.
Hammond, where have you been?
Surviving. Barely. I found some med supplies and patched myself up. Listen. I'm calling aboard on the mission. Fuck the CEC and fuck the chain of command. We have to get the hell out of here. I think I've located a shuttle on the crew deck. Flight log says it needs a new singularity core, but we can probably salvage one from the Valor. I can see the tail end of it sticking out from the side of the Ishimura. I'm headed down there now to find a way inside. I'll meet you there. Hammond out.
Isaac, if what he says is true about the shuttle, we might have a chance of getting out of here. Head to the cargo bay and see if you can help Hammond. In his condition, he may not last long.
Daniels, what happened? Something shook the whole crew deck. What hit it? An asteroid?
Those things got onto the Valor, a rescue ship. They found your escape pod. And the one that used to be Chen, it's...
God damn it!
The Valor's scrap. By the time another ship hears the SOS beacon, we'll all be dead.
No, that's what I was telling you. I found an executive shuttle on the crew deck, intact.
And the log says that shuttle's missing its singularity core. It can't get us home.
Wait, maybe it can. If the Valor's singularity core is okay, I could salvage it, install it on that shuttle. We're fucking out of here.
Where's the Valor now?
It's near comms.
Keep us stable. Isaac, I'll grab a suit and EVA onto the Valor. Meet me there. We'll find that core together. Let CEC clean up their own mess. I'm saving what I can.
He is sick of this mission. It has turned into a complete disaster, lost too many lives, and nearly killed him as well. Leaving this area, you are greeted by a divider and a pregnant necromorph. The opposite is said about the remake, where you just fly over to the Valor. Of course, too, in the original, this has to have that tram transition sequence, which I find to be kind of comical. I mean, the Valor is just kind of there. Again, another great chapter, as now you have to board the Valor in order to snag its singularity core for an escape shuttle on the Ishimura. Starting off in 2008, you have to jettison the Valor's nuclear weapon orbs, or whatever the hell. I actually find this I find this fart to be pretty funny. Fucking hell. Can you tell it's 10:18 right now? I'm tired of shit. I find this part to be pretty funny, as it reminds me of the nuclear weapons from the Rock movie, if you know that movie with Nicolas Cage and the other old guy. I say that now, but Nicolas Cage was actually pretty young in that movie, where the weapons looked like little green orbs. I just find it to be kind of funny. In 2023, you kind of just jump ship, although they actually did a clever thing, wherein you have to disarm this nuclear warhead by shooting these fuse boxes. However, the game spawns the suicide bombers that explode. If you shoot the bombers, the ship explodes because of the nuclear material. Pretty cool, and I actually don't mind it. Both segments are pretty fun. I kind of did go forward a little bit, just to kind of connect both points. But this is where you're introduced to the Valor necromorphs. And of course, Hammond says something stupid here.
Isaac, we have a problem. The Valor's carrying a 12 megaton warhead. The crash hit the torpedo bay hard. I need you to handle that nuke right away before something sets it off.
Handle 12 megatons. You know I'm not a nuclear engineer, right?
I don't need you to be. Just stabilize the warhead and eject it away from the Ishimura.
Christ, damn it.
No one trained you to carve up monsters with a plasma cutter either. You haven't let us down yet.
This sentence alone, I think, encapsulates the remake, right? It is definitely way more action-oriented, and it's too on the nose. Isaac is an engineer. He's supposed to be just an ordinary person, which, again, is another reason why I don't like the Leviathan boss fights, because I feel like they're too kind of unrealistic for the character. But he's supposed to be an everyday sort of person, not a soldier. This is reflected in his melee attacks, where he's almost stumbling to do a melee, even throwing a punch. It's so, kind of meager and, I'll just say it, weak, Isaac shouldn't be able to kill as much, and Hammond's outward praise for this is just out of place, it feels like. And it's also, God, looking up the name of these necromorphs, I actually liked it. I don't know if anybody else has used it, but I just said Valor necromorphs. But these guys are called the fucking Twitchers. Are you kidding me? Like, these gotta be fan names, or like unofficial fan names, I feel like it. I mean, come on, Visceral, EA. You guys really... Twitchers? Twitchers. I actually like Valor necromorphs so much more. I don't know. Why not like Valorians? Isn't that the name of that one shitty movie though? Is that the name of the movie? I don't know. I think it is the name of the movie. I don't know. And the Valor necromorphs design is actually pretty good. I would even say it's better than 2008, because in 2008 they all have this goofy ass looking face. Their audio design is actually on par too. I do like the sort of gurgling noise and screams that come from the 2008 guys, but in 2023 they definitely are more animalistic in a sense, and their shrieks are a little bit more terrifying. So again, it's weird because it feels like the original starts out super strong and the remake starts out really weak, and it's just like tables are sort of turning here. I don't know. But for being an enemy prized on their speed, they aren't all too fast in 2023. With these Twitcher necromorphs, they are incredibly fast, like insanely fast, like damn fast, as Hammond says. The stasis modules that are in their suits, or like their pirate armor, whatever people like to call, I think, or they more or less call it stormtrooper armor, melded into their flesh with the necromorphs' necrophage bacteria thing, and has made them insanely fast. I guess hence the name Twitcher, but that's not even... It's just Valor morphs, or Valor necromorphs, or Valorians, or whatever the fuck. But for being an enemy prized on their speed, they aren't all too fast in 2023. We still have a case of the 2008 game having faster and more difficult necros. And they don't crawl fast towards you after their legs are blown off, which was probably the creepiest thing about them, is that they actually get faster when you dismember them, which is such a letdown in the remake. Also, they are way easier to take care of now, as that they have these stasis guards on their armor that once shot or beaten, they are stasis for a short duration, which I find to be a good touch story lore-wise, but in gameplay it makes them a lot easier to deal with. Shit, look how hard one of these guys were to kill in 2008, and compare that with 2023. It's also here on the Valor. In the 2023 remake, it's shown earlier that Dr. Kyne actually gets in touch with you. In the 2008 version, it's later on in the chapter, which we'll get into, but Dr. Kyne's performance, his voice actor in general in the remake, is terrible. I mean, the interaction between him and Isaac is cut short due to Isaac being a fucking asshole. He just doesn't want to deal with the other unitologists, but he just blatantly blows off Kyne, and Kyne doesn't even get a word out. Kyne in the original is kind of like, it's like he's hiding in a corner, doesn't want to get caught by anybody for some odd reason, and he contacts you very discreetly, which I find to be very interesting. Here in the 2008 version as well, we come across the soldier with the gravity displacement paneling, basically being put in perpetual torment, which I honestly always not enjoyed, but I always found it a little unsettling, as if these things one-shot you in-game and this guy is still alive somehow, I can't even imagine how much pain that this poor guy is in. And again, this is another great thing of Isaac's sort of reticle thing, right? You aim in, and in the original, which honestly, or in the remake, I didn't even see him in the remake. That's how unnoticed and unnoticeable he was. But in the original, if you aim your weapon up, Isaac will lower his weapon down, just as almost as a form of respect in a way. It's very interesting. Probably the worst offense in the remake is the removal of the firing range. The firing range in the original was basically like a fun little minigame where if you completed all 5 rounds, you got some really neat rewards, like a ruby semiconductor and a power node. And for some reason in the remake, it's completely removed in here. Like, you do the firing range, and midway through, necromorphs invade, and after you kill them all, the firing range is just disabled. It's such a letdown, as there was actually some pretty fun rewards in it. And actually, a funny part too is in my 2008 playthrough that I recorded here, I did the whole firing range, nabbed all the rewards, and then before that, I went to the laser trap segment after, or the laser surgery machine, and that set a checkpoint down for there before I did the firing range. And I actually died here in the laser segment and had to do the firing range all over, which was very annoying. Very funny, I think. The one thing though is that we at least have 0G basketball, and I'll be honest, it's actually pretty dope in the remake, so we will get to that when the time comes. There's oddly as well a hallucination of Nicole in the medbay room of the Valor. A little odd placing though, as when you notice it, a bunch of Necros just come flying out of nowhere. This hallucination happened in 2008, way before the laser trap part, in the actual nuke room, where in the remake you had to disable it without killing the bomber guys, like I mentioned before. There are no Necros before this, so the scene is almost kind of set for you to see that. After that, you reach the crew quarters of the USM Valor, and another lockdown sequence is initiated. They actually removed the one-shot gravity panel here as well in favor of these electrical panels. Again, it's a kind of a bummer, but it can still be utilized in the same sense as the original. And there's an odd brute spawn here for whatever reason, and that can also just get completely wrecked by the electrical panel, which is what I did. After that, there's a pretty decent log in the remake from Hammond explaining that the Valor is prepped for a seek and destroy mission. And again, this is actually a pretty good audio log, as you can clearly hear the manic and mania in Hammond's voice.
The Valor's munition log. It wasn't just a nuke. They came loaded for war, seek and destroy. This was no patrol. They knew about the Ishimura. Someone knew. We were all dead from the moment we arrived.
Props to the remake. Another good audio log. Maybe this game isn't too bad. That's right, I forgot. Hammond dies in this chapter. So, Hammond's death. My God, what can I say about this? When you meet Hammond, he sees the necromorph Chen, and he says, help me out, help me take him back to the Kellion. One, the Kellion fucking blew up! And you saw that, Hammond. You saw that in the remake, and you saw that in the original. Two, who gives a shit about Chen? Seriously, he is just a nobody character. Literally, in the original as well, those two guys were just, guys that are supposed to die, right? Who the fuck cares about Chen? And the fact in the original that Hammond died, and which led to a boss fight with not only a brute, but like the supercharged brute, led to a thing where we couldn't mourn his death right away. We were just, thrusted straight into battle. Not just that, Hammond in the original dies trying to reach us, and not by some lockdown sequence or some, door shutting down. He's locked behind some sort of glass paneling. And God, Hammond dies in such a horrific way in the original. The poor bastard gets pulled apart like friggin' string cheese. Like, oh my God. After taking care of the upgraded Brute, you are rewarded with a diamond semiconductor, the highest sellable item besides something else coming up that can be sold at the shop for credits. In my opinion, losing Hammond for a semiconductor just seems like a huge lackluster reward. Also, in the remake, Hammond shoves the Chen necromorph into the Singularity Core, thus killing them both in just a very silly way. It's just... it fucking sucks. It's so bad. It's so bad. But what if this damaged the Singularity Core somehow, right? This could have just completely killed us and the entire mission. It's not like a selfless act where Hammond's going out in a blaze of glory. He's literally, you know, sacrificing himself and this Chen necromorph for, like, you know, he could have fucking killed it. He could have fucking blew us all up, bro. I know. I don't even know what the fuck a Singularity Core is. But he ran it into him, and he could have just fucking destroyed that or the ship. So, I mean, it just seems like a stupid maneuver from Hammond's part.
Another malfunction. Half the Ishimura's in the red. Someone get the door open. Chen? Christ, what did that thing do to you? Help me get him to the Kellys.
Shoot him. It's not Chen. Shoot him! Shoot him! Hammond!
Chen?
Hammond!
You're what killed him.
Look out! Hammond! Hammond!
Quarantine lockdown disengaged.
Isaac! Over here! I've been trying to reach you. My comm was out. Tell the Singularity Core that's our ticket out of here. Get that core zone! Don't wait for me!
So, you grab the Singularity Core in the remake and in the original, and the Valor starts to implode. You evacuate the ship and head back to the Ishimura. Although, a great surprise being that the infected Valor soldiers also had the same idea and are now on board the Ishimura roaming around. Get a decent cutscene of Isaac bailing out of the Valor and back into the comms room. And an interesting little detail here is of the rule show don't tell. In the remake, Kendra blatantly tells you that some of the infected Valor soldiers got on board the Ishimura.
Isaac, come in.
Here. Fuck, that was close.
Chen, Johnston, now Hammond. And I'm tracking movement from the Valor. I think some of those mutated soldiers made it on board.
Whereas just in the previous section we were talking about how in the 2008 game, the infected Valor soldiers just spawn out of nowhere. It's a great subtle jab at the player and it leaves you wondering, are there more of them? Was that it? Are they going to be roaming around the Ishimura now? Just a great setup going into Chapter 10. Whereas in the remake, they just basically say, hey, some soldiers got on board. Something especially like a video game like this where it's a horror game, the example of show don't tell is immensely powerful. Before heading into the next chapter, I did the rest of the side quests that were still available to me. You are not authorized and the premeditated malpractice one. With the you are not authorized subquest, I can finally open up those big ass crates and get some upgrades for my guns that have long been sitting unupgraded. With the premeditated malpractice subquest, you get a stasis upgrade that deals damage to enemies while they are in stasis. Honestly, this is a nice little upgrade, as the stasis in the OG game doesn't get any additional upgrades besides duration and size, so a stasis that does damage is actually an improvement. With that out the way, we are on to Chapter 10. These last two chapters aren't my favorite chapters in the game, and they're kind of slow and sluggish, I feel, at some points. But moving on, 2008 has such a better setup point to the crew quarters, and 2023, it's just missing something. Just take a look. Now we have to install the Singularity Core in the crew shuttle, but first, zero-G basketball, baby! Hell yeah! I am honestly just so glad they remade this in the remake, and I honestly feel like it fits better with the zero-G mechanics of Dead Space 2 and the remake in this little minigame. And it's such a fun, like, little creative idea. And honestly gives you some decent rewards at the end. So we get the crew key card in the minigame quarters or whatever, locker room. What was it? I don't even remember. You get the key card and head into the Jacob Temple cutscene in 2023 is the perfect encapsulation of why Mercer, being this doctor with stasis, is what is wrong with every cutscene featuring him. Mercer shoots a shot of stasis at Temple and freezes him in place for an ungodly amount of time. And I think that Isaac literally gets this guy killed here. Like, Isaac literally tells Mercer that you and your marker can go to hell. Instead of bargaining for Temple's life, he chooses to insult Mercer. And I literally think it gets him killed. But again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself with Mercer being this ungodly presence in the story with stasis, so yeah. This whole cutscene is just so silly to me and doesn't lay a hair to the original one. In the original cutscene, Mercer goes full berserk on Temple and straight up just stabs him in the head. Mind you, Temple is restrained in this cutscene, meaning that Mercer had to go through the trouble of rounding up Temple. How? We don't know. And from the looks of it, he also got Dr. Cross here too. There's also this sense of helplessness as even if you do reach Mercer in time, he will still kill Jacob Temple. Now the game does lock the doors to get to the cutscene that is taking place, but it is rumored that Mercer locked the doors. And two, this Mercer dude is killing Temple no matter what, because he's freaking crazy in this game. Where in the remake, it actually seems like Isaac could potentially bargain with the 2023 Mercer, but I digress.
Built your shit. It didn't work. You're not gonna hurt anyone else. I'd say your usefulness has run out.
Mercer!
Still alive, Mr. Clark. I'm still denied convergence thanks to this ingrate.
Mercer, wait. Tell me. I want to understand. What is convergence?
But you already know. Dead or living, we all feel the marker's true purpose. Don't you want to be reunited with the people you lost? Yes. Then why not with me? Mr. Temple has refused, but we are so close. Everything that has happened on the Ishimura is just the beginning.
When you put it that way, you and your marker can go to hell.
Shit.
No! God damn it!
In a slow death in stasis. I think you're dead.
What do you cling to when all must seem so utterly hopeless around you? Dr. Cross was a true believer. She had faith. And now she awaits her transformation, her rebirth. Are you ready to ascend, Mr. Temple? Of course you are. Have no fear. You will play your part soon enough. Witness the conviction of a true believer! You're ready. Take them. Embrace them.
I also just wanted to highlight real quick a little part in the original. After you get into the room where Temple is killed, in the little hallway, a suicide bomber guy will spawn. And he sort of just looks into the window and stares at you. And his enemy design is just, it is genuinely unsettling. His skull is literally split like in half, and he's clapping it like a cymbal monkey. It is genuinely horrific. After that, there actually is a nice little hallucination scene where the corpses in the mess hall start talking to Isaac in the remake. It's actually pretty good. Also, the marker, this alien artifact that's causing, you know, all of the like dementia and like craziness on the ship is just here. There's no like big reveal like in 2008. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. In 2008, you snag the nav cards and head into the crew quarters section on the bridge. Video log, or like Mercer hologram log that plays here, is insanely subpar compared to the OG. The OG Mercer sounds like an actual lunatic, where in the remake, he just sounds like the bad guy, pretty much. But Mercer's performance in 2008 is just so much better than in the remake. His performance is honestly a little terrifying, just the lengths that he goes to try and convince people to join the Church of Unitology. In the remake, I'll be honest, I didn't even really listen to it, but like, he was just calling like Isaac crazy or some shit. I don't know. It was just stupid. Making some progress, we go through a lockdown cycle, head into the B quarters, see the crazy lady off herself.
You should kill yourself now.
A little side note here with the remake soundtrack. I can't really say if it's good or not. Listening to it back, I think it's like okay. At some points it gets a little goofy, but it's I guess it does add to the environment. I don't know. In the remake, running into this little room triggers a cutscene between Isaac and Nicole, but it is the stupidest goddamn thing, as I can literally hear a hunter and enemy necromorphs behind me in the door that is locked. And I can't even hear the cutscene because of them just fucking gurgling and screaming behind me.
Isaac. Sorry, late shift. How are you?
My mother, she's,
Octavia? How's she doing?
she's dead, Nicole. They both are. She killed my dad, then herself. The church. They, took the bodies before I could,
Oh, Isaac, I'm so sorry. Fucking Unitology brainwashing.
Stop it. Just stop talking. You said she was herself again. You said she would be better at home. I trusted you. God. You might as well have killed him yourself.
But she was better. You told me to leave for the Ishimura. You pushed me to... You know what? Go to hell, Isaac.
Nicole. Nicole! Nicole! I didn't... Oh, God. No. Not her, too.
And this little interaction, like hallucination sequence between Isaac and Nicole, it's okay. I couldn't really tell if it's because of the side quest that I was doing or actually part of the main quest. I will say it will give Isaac a better reason to want to save and see Nicole. But I mean, it just kind of solidifies the cold performance of the Nicole voice actor in this scene. I mean, she literally tells Isaac to go to hell. I mean, goddamn. The video message in the beginning is like her wanting to see anyone or Isaac, and her last supposed interaction with Isaac is telling him to go to hell. Now, you could chalk this up to the marker's influence on Isaac, but I honestly cannot say for sure if this was actually intended to be in the game or this is just a marker hallucination. I even think the Dead Space 2 interaction between Isaac and Nicole is so much more genuine, as Nicole messages Isaac saying, the Ishimura is great, I'm really glad you pushed me to take on this job. And it honestly gives Isaac a humongous guilt trip that he pushed Nicole to, take this position. Later on in the same room, you find a video log between Mercer and Nicole where Mercer finds Nicole in his chambers. I know you might know where this is going, but I assure you it's not going there. Nicole finds Mercer's notes on Harris, the hunter that Mercer turned him into with the cellular regeneration thing and whatnot. Nicole is disgusted, but at the discovery of Mercer finding her, I can't really tell if she's bluffing or, kind of actually going with Mercer at this point, because her performance is so fucking bad. It's like, and the thing of I only trust one man now is come on, man. It feels comical,
Log retrieved.
Is it recording? Can't miss anything. There's just cruelty. He was deciphering how the marker's signal affects the brain and how... Oh my God.
Ah, Dr. Brennan. Let me guess. Terrence Kine let you in. Shame he's not here.
He didn't understand how this tragedy represents a chance to cure death.
Go on.
These creatures, reanimated tissue, cellular immortality. I know we've never seen eye to eye, but I understand now. There's so many I should have saved.
So you came to me.
Because you've learned how to communicate with the marker. I'm so close. I thought it must have the secrets that I need.
You are a woman of science, not faith. Leave the marker to me. These are your autopsy notes. Very thorough. You'll need them peer-reviewed, of course. And poor Terrence isn't here to help you.
Yes. There's only one man I trust now.
And who's to say that this one guy that she trusts isn't Mercer, or the captain, or Kine, or the, what the fuck's the unitology guy, Altman? Who is to say? It's it's weird. And it compels it with the video log that we just saw between the interaction of Isaac and Nicole, where Nicole literally tells Isaac to go to hell. It's like, what? So, the video log from the original, or the video log at the beginning is saying that she wants to see Isaac, but the last interaction that they had was Nicole telling Isaac to go to hell? What? I don't understand. It's very weird. Very off. With this, the medicated malpractice side quest is complete, and with it you get a Force Gun upgrade. And yay, I guess. I don't even use the Force Gun, except that one time when I was elevator maintenance, but moving on. We get to the executive crew quarters. We are met with another lockdown sequence, and finally get the executive crew keycard. I will say I like the lighting plus the fight a lot better in 2008 with the 4 pregnant Necros. I thought it was kind of like a play on the elites of the ship, or just elite fat cats in general, saying. I thought it was a clever way. Either way, moving on. In 2023, we finally meet face to face with Beta Kine here. And this performance is the biggest sin in the entire game of the remake. As Dr. Kyne's performance in 2008 was almost legendary. Kyne is a twisted character, almost being responsible for the outbreak on the Mishimura. on the Mishimura. on the Ishimura. Twisted by his faith, he was manipulated into thinking that this transformation was the key to salvation. Though with its unravelings and the horrors that have unfolded on the Ishimura, he feels conflicted and ultimately chooses to atone for his sins and those of the followers of Unitology, aka the bad guys. In 2008, after surviving the Mercer onslaught, him locking us up in the crew quarters, we finally reach Sigma Kyne. 2008, Kyne's performance perfectly encapsulates the stress that's been inflicted on the crew. The hysteria and beliefs misconstrued to fit Mercer and other Unitologist beliefs all conform to Kyne begging Isaac to help. I even love his intro here, where he's talking about the destroyed shock point drive. He says, no, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. It's so good, it's so good.
You've made it! Oh, thank God you made it. I've been following your progress. I know you want to repair the executive shuttle and leave this place, but escape is impossible at this point. The shuttle shock point drive is destroyed. No. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. At first, I lost hope. I tried to scuttle the ship, sabotage the systems. But Amelia, she changed things. The church, they think the marker is divine, but they don't know what's happened here, what's been released. Look. Look at this. That is what we found in the core of the planet. Mercer calls it the hive mind. It's the source, controlling the necromorphs telepathically. We were so stupid. But Amelia, she knew it could be stopped by returning the marker to the planet. The marker was containing it within the planet. Return the marker and seal the hive mind. Please. I'm sorry, Amelia. I bear much of the responsibility for this tragedy. Now, I must take responsibility for ending it. Atone for my sins. But you can help me. If you repair the shuttle and bring the marker back on board, we can end this forever.
Kyne's reveal of the hive mind here is also done pretty well in the in-game universe with the rig link screen, you know. And in the remake, I didn't like how it was just like on some giant flat screen, you know. It was like a perfectly placed flat screen right here. Whereas in the remake, it's just here's the rig link, here's the hive mind in a super small screen. Anywho, onto the shuttle. Install the nav cards in 2008 or the Singularity Core in 2023, and the final Hunter battle ensues. Take him out with the shuttle's engines, and Kyne takes the ship and meets you in the flight deck where you started the game originally. 2023, you get a tentacle cutscene, which turns into a tentacle section, which, again, isn't a bad addition. I would have actually liked to have seen more transitions like this. However, Mercer dies here as well in a really goofy manner. Also, the markers here, this is the last you see of Mercer in the remake. In the OG game, he lets an infector take him, which, again, is a little goofy, but I think is more fitting for his character, instead of him just standing there like a dope and getting, you know, his back blown out by a fucking tentacle. Dude, that is crazy because that's like basically kind of like what happens. However, I actually like how in the remake, Kendra roasts you for giving Kyne the ship, which is actually pretty funny.
Mr. Clark, we're approaching the hangar bay. We'll meet you there with the marker.
Now arriving at flight deck.
Yes, I assume. We'll send the hive mind back into the darkness.
So glad you gave that guy our only escape shuttle.
But also the way that Isaac wants to go in and wrestle for the marker after he's taken by the tentacle is again this tough guy personality that Isaac portrays in the game. The main philosophy is that Isaac is just an engineer, not a super soldier, and his dialogue, I don't think it fits his character well.
Shit, Isaac. Those things you've killed, their biomass is pulled down in the cargo bay. It's recombined itself into... Well, it's something huge, and the marker's embedded right in the middle. How the hell do we do this?
I've got the Ishimura's cargo cranes. They can move half a bay of mining gear, no problem. If whatever's down there wants to wrestle for the marker, I'm in.
Override the safeties, and yes, it might work. But hurry. We're losing critical systems fast.
Finally, moving on to... So, in the original game, we have to go down to the cargo bay and actually snag the marker in this chapter. Whereas, in the remake, we have to go grab it from where we once had it in the same place. We have to load the marker onto the shuttle. But in the original, we don't have the marker. So we have to go to the cargo bay and reveal the ungodly marker hiding in the depths of this biomass cargo container area. Just now in the remake, though, I wonder... Doesn't the marker have, like, some lore significance that the necromorphs can't touch it or they're, like, you know, deterred by it? So why can this tentacle just straight up grab the marker and take it down to the cargo bay? I don't know, it just seems a little odd. Anywho, in both games, in the cargo bay, there are tentacles that pop up from the little cargo, you know, mess in the bottom. They'll try to deter your progress from transporting the marker to the, like, little extraction site. In the remake, you can actually find the Peng trophy here, which was a little Easter egg in the original that you can actually take to the shop and sell for a nice little sum of money. There also is a bit of a difference here between the two games in that in the original, you have to use the kinesis module to transport the marker, whereas in the remake, you just press a button and it just goes. So again, you could say this is like a loss of control for the games, and I actually kind of liked extracting, you know, the marker because it added some more tension to the game, whereas just pressing a button and watching it go is just a little silly. I don't know. Looping back to flight control, we enter into another lockdown quarantine section, and it's a nice little nod to the beginning of our journey, as now we have a means to defend ourselves. It was actually funny because I was half expecting to see that necromorph that I captured way back in the game just to be still standing in the quarantine section, but unfortunately he left. I don't know where he went. Take care of the lockdown sequence and Kine will land the shuttle. Turn off the gravity to load the marker into the shuttle. Also, in 2008, this is where you can grab Peng, who is sitting here in one of the little rivets. Load the marker, and Kendra kills Kine here. And her explanation in working for EarthGov isn't bad. The explanation, albeit in 2008, is shorter, colder, and damn, it still hits hard to this day. I would say, too, the explanation of EarthGov is only, I don't even really know who they are, I'll be honest. I've only heard of them in Dead Space 2, so I will say, you know, hearing about them in this game, you'd only really know about them from playing Dead Space 2. But dude, Kendra's delivery in 2008 is just so brilliant. It's so fucking evil. It's honestly just play it.
Sorry, Isaac. I couldn't let him go through with it. I suppose I should thank you for finding the marker. We even managed without help from the USM Valor. Thank you for helping me find him, by the way. My department's been looking for this place for a long time. See what Kine didn't know was? It was the government's mess to begin with. This whole planet is one big experiment. The marker? This divine relic? Made by man. They reverse engineered it a couple of 100 years ago from the real marker, a true alien artifact recovered on Earth. They dug it up, studied it, and they made it their own. Then they brought it to Aegis 7 and activated it. And you've seen the result. The stuff of nightmares. They sealed the system, and no one would have been the wiser. But then the CEC blunders in and starts tearing the planet apart. The experiment was still alive. Kine was right about the hive mind. The marker would contain it, but that doesn't matter now, does it? I have the marker, and this entire system can go to hell. For what it's worth, you did a great job, Isaac. See you around. Or maybe not.
Sorry, Isaac. I couldn't trust him with the marker.
Kendra, what are you doing?
What my department sent me here to do. Even if the Valor couldn't help me out like I wanted.
Department? Who are you?
I work for EarthGov, cleaning up a very, very old mess. I told you and him in the Aegis 7 was off limits. The planet was one big government experiment. The marker, this divine artifact, it was built by human hands.
That's impossible. It's an alien world. The miners dug up the fucking thing.
After it was planted here a few hundred years ago. Even Kai didn't pick up on that. They found the first marker in some crater on Earth. That one. That was real. Alien. Enough to inspire unitology. Our people studied it and reverse engineered this red marker. But they needed somewhere to test it.
Aegis 7.
You've seen the result. The stuff of nightmares. I thought the old reports were just hysteria. Until I saw what I saw. They sealed off the whole system, buried the records nice and clean. Until CEC got greedy. Those idiots tore Aegis 7 apart and woke up with the old research team left behind.
So EarthGov sends you to sweep it all under the rug. Damn it, we have to return the marker. If anyone else stumbles across Aegis 7...
It was disappeared once. We can do it again. I've seen how the marker fucks with your head. It must be contained. For what it's worth, we made a great team. You'll find another way off the Ishimura. I mean, you're one hell of an engineer.
Your experiment's gonna kill us all! Daniels!
After our betrayal, Nicole calls us on the rig link and beckons us to help her in the control room. One small detail I actually like in the remake is Isaac's reaction to the whole betrayal. He's genuinely distraught, and his one quote saying it was all for nothing as he's basically just stuck on the Ishimura is actually pretty good. In 2008, you run up to Nicole, who, oddly enough, is being blocked by this Guardian. Another subtle clue at the big reveal. So in 2023, you're greeted by Nicole's mom, and her delivery here is just so insincere. I actually way prefer the 2008 performance here, as Nicole sounds so much more dire in her quest, but also just loving of Isaac.
Isaac? Is that really you? I never thought we'd be together again. God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. I never wanted to hurt you. You need to get it back now, Isaac. You can pilot the shuttle remotely from here. Make us whole again. Make us whole again.
There you are.
Thank God you're here. The ship's coming apart. I saw what you've been through. Your investigation, Mercer. What happened with us?
We don't have to talk about it.
I need you to know I'm sorry about everything.
It's okay, Isaac. You know I forgive you. I love you.
Well, good, but...
There's still hope. You can recall the shuttle and remote pilot it from here. Bring back the marker and we can return it to Aegis 7. You can make us whole again.
I just want to make things right.
Then let's do it together.
The same scene ensues, and you recall the executive shuttle back to the Ishimura. So here in the remake is a sort of final call moment, as if you go on the executive shuttle and you didn't complete all the side quests, or there's something that you wanted to grab, now it's like the last call, as once you enter into the executive shuttle, there's no point of return. It was actually funny too, when I was playing the remake, I just ran past the two Leaper necromorphs that were there, and Nicole just like hops on the ship. It's like, so how did she avoid those two necros from before? I just thought it was funny. And also you could hear them in the background just like roaring and yelling. It was so funny.
Are you ready?
We're together again. Nothing can stop us now.
Chapter 12. We are in the home stretch now. In 2023, you actually get a nice little transition sequence with you and Nicole. You have a nice little kind of like lore conversation as you ride down to Aegis 7. In 2008, it's just a simple loading screen and then, bam, you're on the planet. Here you are tasked with returning the marker to its pedestal. In 2008, you manually load the marker by pushing it with kinesis, just like you did in the cargo bay sequence. Whereas in 2023, again, you just click a button and watch it go. There's a quarantine lockdown on the colony, take care of that into the Guardian lockdown sequence, wherein you face 2 Guardians and a Brute, which comes later on. I will actually say that the remake has a way better setting on the colony compared to 2008. These fans are massive, and the room overall has been widened, as compared to the little wind tunnel that you waltzed in 2008. I've always actually really liked the ending scenes in both games. This like final home stretch of the bridge with you trying to run around with the marker, and all the necromorphs charging you, and tentacles coming up and trying to stomp you out. It feels like the whole world, the whole planet is trying to kill you. And I gotta give a big shout out to the remake actually here, because the setting and the scenery is honestly remarkable, with the tethers holding the chunk of planet above you, and the dust and the necromorph, tendril flesh is everywhere. It creates a very, beautiful scene, and I gotta say, kudos to the remake here. The darker setting in 2008 is also pretty good, with the dust particles rolling in, but I gotta say, the remake actually has, I feel like a lot more like aura in this. With that, the marker is placed, and we are whole again. Yeah, a bunch of fucking assholes before I fucking like it. With that done, we have to leave this god-forbidden planet, but Kendra shows up unexpectedly back to steal the marker, which I never really understood in either game, because it's like, how did Kendra come back, and did she fight her way through, necromorphs? And when she steals the marker, won't the necromorphs just come back to life and just, try to rip her apart? It was always kind of weird to me. Kendra calls you crazy, then shows you the whole video that Nicole sent you. It is here that we discover that Nicole actually killed herself in order to prevent herself from becoming a necromorph. Her performance here is very soft and serene, and she injects herself with some sort of poison, it looks like. And the game really tries to pull on your heartstrings here by having Isaac actually physically react to Nicole's passing. But for a guy that hasn't emoted like hardly at all, except for like screaming and stomping on necromorphs, it just isn't it. And I've always found this part to be like a little goofy and somewhat ham-fisted, and even for like a character who doesn't speak and we don't know like all too well, it actually doesn't, I think, fit in the story. And I actually have to give another compliment to the remake here, and it did it far better. However, I will say the Nicole death scene is handled a lot better in 2008. And it's just like simple camera angles. It's not even like a huge difference. If you notice in 2008, the camera will actually pan down to show Nicole injecting herself with the poison. However, in the remake, it's not it. And she kind of just nods off, and it's like, well, she can kind of be doing anything down there. We don't even fucking know, so. In the remake, Nicole isn't a figment of Isaac's imagination. It's actually Dr. Cross. The marker fooled Isaac into thinking that Cross was Nicole, and for Cross, it fooled her into thinking that Isaac was Jacob Temple, who we know died a while back. Kendra shoots Cross, which isn't a bad twist, and one that I actually prefer. However, in 2008, I think Temple and Cross's deaths were played out far better, and Cross becoming this staple character is a little silly, I think. With Kendra stealing the marker once more, we load up in the pre-boss loot room and head into the final boss fight. So, huge little side note here. In the remake, due to me not nabbing certain upgrade paths for some of my guns, I had an extra 14 nodes that I could not spend on my weapons because of me not grabbing these paths. So it basically meant that my weapons were locked at their current levels until I did a new run of the game, which is just so frustrating to me, and it's such a stupid system. In order to upgrade those said weapons, you have to complete the side quests. It's not optional. I mean, even for the force gun, for example, one of the side quests literally gives you a force gun upgrade. I didn't even use the force gun. So if you're using the force gun, you have to complete this side quest in order to even unlock the extra branches on the node upgrade screen. I think it's just a really bad system, and one that I just don't like. In 2008, this problem was non-existent, and I was able to spend all of my nodes. Lastly, the cutscene ensues of the hive mind. Kendra is absolutely decimated by it, and in the remake, Isaac actually tries to help Kendra, which is a little odd as she portrayed us twice, like 3 times if you count Hammond. Finally, the hive mind fight. Nothing much has changed, except now the hive mind can do this area of effect attack where it scorches the arena with like this burning hot acid. And in all fairness, I never really liked this fight to begin with. It just seemed like too unbelievable given the whole premise of Isaac just being like a normal engineer. It's like almost like a Godzilla level threat. All for like one little guy to handle. I think it would be more believable if like Isaac like just left the planet and like nuked the site from orbit. Just to be safe.
It's the only way to be sure.
Kill all the hive mind's little orb things, and that is the game for both Dead Space 2008 and 2023.
So, for the secret ending in the Dead Space Remake, after completing your initial playthrough and hopping into a new run of the game, you will notice that there are marker fragments spread throughout the Ishimura. You collect around 12 of these, I believe, and then deposit them into Captain Benjamin Mathias' room. Then, after beating the game once more, you are treated to a hidden sort of ending cutscene. I'll be honest, the cutscene is okay. I kind of think it's a little lackluster again, as it's just like 2, maybe 3 extra little pieces of dialogue. It does sort of hint towards Dead Space 2, but it's just, I don't know, it feels like it's super kind of lame. I was expecting a little more, to be honest, but that's that.
The Ishimura really was a great ship.
Yeah. We were lucky to see her in her prime.
Are we going home, Isaac? There's so much work to do.
Soon, I promise. Gotta build a little something first.
For me? What is it?
It's a surprise, sweetie. But I think you're gonna like it.
Now, let's do a little final recap of sorts. This little experiment has shown me that there are some good aspects of the remake. For one, the Ishimura and the world are downright stunning at times. But here's the kicker. The game runs like complete shit. I don't know if it was my PC, but I have a pretty decent GPU and pretty decent specs, and I played the game at high quality and experienced numerous bugs and glitches. Enemies popping in and out, audio glitches.
What the hell? What the hell? Where'd this thing come from?
Map not loading up in time, tons. Like I said, there were some good things that I could say about the remake. It is definitely more fluid and responsive. However, in my opinion, I think this detracts from the original purpose of, the Dead Space game. There was a design philosophy for the original Resident Evil game in the tank controls, where you don't have like 100% control of your character. And for me, this definitely adds to the horror experience, as if you're trying to navigate like a close hallway or something like that, you cannot get out of that hallway right away. And I feel like the same thing goes for the original and the remake. Isaac in the original is pretty slow. In the remake, he's a straight triathlon athlete. He can just straight up juke necromorphs like left and right. And this, I feel, detracts from the horror experience that this horror game should be. And this makes Isaac a literal killing machine. A lot of the footage that you've seen, and I mean like half of the footage you've seen, is just me punching out necromorphs left and right. As I mentioned, 2 hits, like consecutively, is enough to stun lock most necromorphs repeatedly. And in a game where you have to manage your resources, it is way more cost effective to just straight melee an enemy than spend your ammo. I even think you could probably do like an all melee run, minus like the bosses and the mini bosses, maybe even the mini bosses, to be honest, because for whatever reason, the game just sort of made this mechanic, a essential feature in the gameplay. Melee was never really supposed to be a main focal point in the gameplay. If you take the original and try to melee a necromorph just without stasis, it will actually block your attack, leaving you vulnerable to other necromorphs or even that necromorph specifically, because now it has an opportunity to attack you. Which in fashion kind of brings me to my next point, which is the stun/pushback feature. If you've noticed from the remake, the plasma cutter and some other weapons, don't stun or push back necromorphs. I feel like this almost compounds with the melee feature, as you're maybe supposed to melee a necromorph instead of shooting them, which it honestly seems so silly, because if I'm shooting somebody like with a gun, with a strong gun, something that can, cut legs off and arms off, I'm pretty sure they're gonna, jolt back when they're being shot. I don't care if they're a, giant alien thing or whatnot. The only way you can really do this in the remake is with some heavier weapons later on, i.e. the force gun, or even your melee for a lot of instances. The Necros will just straight up push through your shots in order to reach you, which makes it useless to even use weaponry at that point. To keep them at a distance, you have to melee them. There is no other option. Let's take it back to 2008 and with the pulse rifle. The pulse rifle, you can even say, is a lot similar to the plasma cutter in this regard in the remake, as the pulse rifle doesn't push enemies back, but it keeps them stunned at a distance. That way you can put yourself back by just simply walking backwards from a necromorph. It's honestly a really odd decision, and I feel makes the game less, scarier in that regard. I think these necromorphs with these weapons where this dismemberment is like the main key point of the game, they can literally just be fucking knocked out by any Joe Schmo with a literal gun. The gun isn't strong, it's the actual metal frame that you're using to bash these necromorphs in heads off with. It's ridiculous.
Also, is it any real surprise that the director, Glenn Schofield, created the Callisto Protocol, and in that game there is a huge emphasis on melee, whereas in the remake, now there's an even bigger emphasis with the weighted blades upgrade and the 2-hit stun. It's a little odd, but it also just goes to show that, since you created one good thing, it does not mean that everything that you make from then on will be good.
As well as the upgrade paths, which was a recent point, but it just highlights this stupid change where you just need to scour the Ishimura to find these little weapon upgrades, and if you miss them or don't want to backtrack, then you're locked out of upgrading some of your, most useful weapons. Another point that ties into this perfectly is the inventory management. In the remake, I found myself hardly ever running out of inventory space, whereas in 2008 I was constantly running out, like almost all the time, as I was trying to hoard as much ammo as possible and manage it with selling and getting credits to buy nodes. In the remake, I had no incentive to use my ammo because I can just punch out any necromorph whatsoever. I mean, look at this shit. I can literally take 2 necromorphs on at once. It's honestly ridiculous. There was maybe like once or twice that I ran out of inventory space, but I feel like right off the bat, I might have to go back and check this, but I think you start out with more inventory space in the remake than you do in the original, as with every suit upgrade you get more inventory slots. Like I mentioned with the melee too, you don't have to spend any ammo, so you can just sell all your ammo, buy nodes, and upgrade yourself to like max level. On the topic of gameplay is the difficulty. For both instances of my little experiment, I played the game, each game on hard difficulty, and I will say in 2023, it wasn't that hard. In 2008, though, I actually struggled at certain points. There is another difficulty option in both games. In 2008, there is impossible mode that requires you to beat the game on the first run around. Although, if you're a little tech savvy, you can actually go in the game files and edit a little piece of code to make it that you cleared the game already, and then get impossible mode, which is actually kind of funny. Impossible mode is unlocked right off the bat in 2023. However, there is no changes to the enemy behavior, only that there is a permadeath option. If you actually die in impossible mode, you can swap the difficulty down to hard, I believe, or change it to whatever difficulty you want. Don't quote me on that, but I believe you just go right to hard difficulty from the previous save. Honestly, I don't like the feature of impossible mode. I get it for like the remake, die-hard fans. It might be a fun little challenge, and I think the rewards are a bit silly. The suit you get is really lame, I think. It's just a silver suit with a red visor. There's way better, there's cosmetic DLC, which I don't really talk about, but there's cosmetic DLC for this game, I think, if you pre-ordered it and whatnot, that look way better compared to the suit that you get for completing a permadeath mode. It's kind of ridiculous. The foam finger cannon is pretty funny though, I do like that. So there is that as well. And so I don't have it in my script necessarily what the changes are from Impossible Mode in 2008, but I looked them up real quick and I'll just read them off. I was reading them myself and I thought they were pretty interesting. So this is from the Dead Space Wiki, deadspacefandom.com/wiki. So if I'm wrong, blame them because I'm going to read verbatim. Being the hardest level of difficulty means that enemies hit harder, take less damage, and fewer resources can be found in the in-game world. Every shot and decision counts. The necromorphs encountered on Impossible are similar to those in hard mode in terms of health and damage, but are more likely to sidestep the player's shots, making precise aiming key. Item drops are more scarce than before. Preset item pickup yields much less quantity compared to lesser difficulties. Most of the time, the amount of ammo collected from fallen enemies wouldn't be enough to put down the next. Killed enemies are also less likely to drop an item, so don't expect your ammo to be refunded by the slasher you just killed. Credits, though, dropping at somewhat higher rate than ammo and health and are disappointingly low amounts, often leaving the player with barely enough money for anything. Hits from even standard necromorphs are dangerous and can tear off huge chunks of health if Isaac's rig is unupgraded. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. And in my research, I haven't found much changes to Impossible Mode in the remake, except just for the permadeath mode. So, I mean, if you really... I mean, maybe I'm just a god-tier gamer, but if you really just punch out necromorphs in hard mode, I mean, what stops you from punching out necromorphs in Impossible Mode? And finally, I mean, I've really touched on the point a lot, but the weapon upgrade paths, they are downright stupid. I do not like this change that you are locked behind, certain upgrades right off the bat until you find these stupid weapon parts, bring them to a workbench, and now you unlock the paths that you can actually do. As these paths, they unlock the special upgrades for a lot of weapons, but they also unlock the additional nodes attached to them. So if you want to increase your damage or your ammo count for a weapon and are locked without finding that path, you're screwed until you find that weapon, upgrade part in the game. So I think it's a really just stupid change, and it doesn't work in the game. So to wrap up all my points into kind of one nice little bunch of fucking shit, fucking stupid fucking game. I will say 2023 is a better action game to speak, but 2008 is a way better horror game. And it's kind of silly that I have to say that because it started out as a horror game. It's not a third-person shooter game, to say the least. So it's just so weird that I have to freaking say that. I don't know. Alright, so for the story. This is practically a no-brainer. The 2008 version has way better story plus characters. And it almost feels like in the remake, they're cheap knockoffs of the originals. It feels like there's so much real emotion conveyed in 2008 compared to 2023. And if that wasn't any clearer in the examples that I've depicted, I don't know what to say. I mean, play the game your fucking self then. I don't fucking know. Mercer, Kyne, Hammond, they're all ultimately assassinated in the remake. They're shells of their former selves. And there are actually some really great themes that you can take away from the characters in this story. Mercer is a man absolutely poisoned by faith. The measures that he goes in order to practice said faith are downright inhuman. Kyne is a troubled scientist also blinded by faith, but uncovers that his faith has been malformed into some unrecognizable creature by those in power and actually seeks to redeem himself. He personally feels responsible for the outbreak that has occurred in the Ishimura, and he makes it his mission to right his wrongs. However, he cannot do it alone. Hammond is a smart, capable leader who strives to get the mission done no matter what, remaining calm in the face of danger, but ultimately succumbing to the horrors of the Ishimura. Not, mind you, by a selfless sacrifice, but going down in a blaze of glory. These characters are horribly rewritten in the remake to a point where it's almost comical. How can I care for someone who makes terrible decisions and says stupid shit?
Gone. Nothing I can do. What the fuck are these things?
Bro,
You bought us time to figure it out.
Autopilot's taking us into geostationary orbit.
Wait, you're flying us through the planet crack debris?
That's what the asteroid defense system is for.
But the ADS is offline. I've got the system readouts here.
Hammond, the Ishimura's in rough shape. A couple of bad strikes could finish her off.
Shit. Daniels, give me all the data you have. I'll try to adjust course.
Shane? Christ, what did that thing do to you? Help me get him to the Kellys.
No. I help someone who can't even explain their rationale for needing my help. I will be honest, this is a little on Isaac for cutting off Kyne in the remake, but if Kyne was really one for atoning his sins, he would get his message out right away without giving a shit what Isaac has to say.
Mr. Clark? Hello? I must speak with you.
This?
Dr. Terrence Kyne, the Ishimura's chief science officer. I studied the marker for the church.
I'm done talking to unitologists.
But the planet won't rest until the marker is returned. You can't leave.
Watch me.
How can I take a villain seriously when he's an overpowered god with stasis abilities unmatched by any upgraded stasis in the game who can freeze you for any point in the story without repercussion? But also just being so villainous to the point of comedy. It feels like he's almost like a Marvel villain at times. It's such a downgrade from the OG Mercer, because OG Mercer in the original was actually terrifying. That dude was legitimately a lunatic. I will admit there are some good logs and performances here, but they are far outnumbered by the OG. And these are just some of the many characters. I could name more examples, but I'm pretty sure you get the point by now. I'll be honest, with the music and the audio, it is no contest. There's only one real track that I remember, and it's the one I mentioned before with the creepy violin track in the remake, and I still don't really know what to make of it. On the one hand, it is a little spooky, but on the other, I can see how it's a little goofy. Whereas in the original, the soundtrack and the ambience is on full display. It still spooks me out to this day sometimes with the whispers and the singing, and it's unsettling and really adds to the environment.
Decontamination sequence activated. Please stand by.
Oh shit! In the remake, I noticed very little of the ambience, and even the music. The necro sounds I found to be silly as hell too. The gurgling screams and shit just wasn't the same as the OG when they were running towards you at Mach 10, screaming bloody murder, or the supercharged necros sounding like rabid dogs. While the 2008 version is a little buggy, the graphics are definitely a little dated, and the PC version is a little unoptimized, Dead Space 2008 has so much passion and detail that it completely eclipses the remake.
As a huge fan of Dead Space 2008, when I heard of a remake, I'll admit I was a little excited. But I learned my lesson from the beginning of the video at purchasing a game at full price with the RE3 remake. Remakes get bad reps nowadays because of changes like this. Overhauls to gameplay, alterations to story, modifications to audio, and the soundtrack. They're supposed to be remaking something that is pre-established. It's basically just like making it for the modern audience who hasn't experienced these things. A remake is a sort of re-envisioning of an IP. Something out there that was so successful or so beloved by some people that they wanted to recreate it with modern technologies. However, along the way, the things that made that game so special or so beloved are reworked or thrown out for some reason. I would say for modern audiences, but sometimes these games were genre defining. So who are we placating to? The new fans or modern audiences? But also with the pandering and the changing of certain characters to fit new political/social senses, say what you want about the gay people and the capitalist writing and the god ugly people, but these were pre-established characters. It makes you think and change your way of thinking of these characters. Why was this a staple that was supposed to be added into this game? It's for the time. It is so clearly for the time that it's, and quite frankly annoying, in my opinion. Annoying that I have to talk about, something that it's just like, it does rile people up on both sides. I do understand that. For me, I could care less, but again, these are pre-established characters. I would say the same thing if they made Hammond white, or Kind black, or Kind gay, or Hammond gay, because it changes the whole dynamic of the character, even this down to sexual orientation, because the information there is not needed. It's not warranted. It's like, okay, who cares if they're gay? I mean, now you're just adding all these sort of dynamics into the game. It's just like, great, now I have to think about all these sorts of, political things and such. It just makes it more annoying in that sense. It's so frustrating to me that a lot of these modern remakes never live up to their predecessors. All you gotta do is add better gameplay, better graphics, fix the bugs that plague the original, and maybe add some story or content that you couldn't have added during the development of the original. Now we just have these stupid systems in place with, these political changes, these game optimizations. And I didn't even mention the DRM software that is the anti-cheat or whatever Visceral or EA has put into the game, where there's some sort of thing that almost runs in the background that tracks your shit. It's legitimately concerning in that regard too. So, in conclusion, I don't necessarily hate the remake. I fucking loathe it. It was such a slog to play through. In 2008, I actually had a great time playing it, but for the remake, it was honestly very difficult. The fact that the remake is actually still $60, whereas the original is $20, I mean, that alone, that could be just the whole video. I didn't have to go through every chapter in every game. I could have said, this is 20 bucks, look at this, and give you a few examples, and this is the remake, this is 60 bucks, and these are all the examples, and this is supposed to be the better version, supposedly, of a beloved game. So, yeah. For 20 bucks, you get a complete game, some glitches provided, some bugs, for 2008. Whereas for $60, you get a watered-down version of said game with numerous graphical errors, a demanding spec list, apparently, plus the DRM software that I didn't mention, which I'll go into and add a little editor's note here because I don't personally know and I didn't add it to my script, so make it that way you will. If it wasn't blatantly obvious, I love the original Dead Space. I'll go as far as to say it's one of my favorite games of all time. And to see it ripped to shreds like this, honestly, just makes me a little sad, as this is some people's introduction to the series.
The Dead Space remake uses de novo DRM, and if you don't know what DRM is, it's basically a technology used to protect games from privacy and unauthorized copying. The reason why de novo is pretty bad is it can have a negative impact on a game's performance, which is probably why my game was suffering so much as it was. There's been reports of longer load times, lower frame rates, and from this article that I picked up, it's the director of Tekken 7 even blamed de novo for poor PC performance, as well as Square Enix removed it from Shadow of the Tomb Raider, resulting in better performance. Some other negativities include an online requirement. Players may need to reconnect every few weeks for updates or if they have a hardware change. And if the de novo server goes down, games can actually be unplayable, even for legitimate owners. It blocks mod support as well as no Linux and Mac OS support. There's even a de novo tax where publishers pay up to $25,000 a month plus license fees, which this could potentially be passed on to consumers. And this whole thing of this just to block piracy, where if the de novo servers shut down, legitimate buyers face restrictions while pirates can often enjoy smoother offline experiences. It's insane.
And it's just not that good. With good games and stories, they can leave impacts on you that last lifetimes. Little interesting details or perspectives that you never really could understand or, live in. I mean, what is it like to be a fucking engineer in the middle of a ship that basically just went to hell? As the original Dead Space, if you don't know, is based off a movie called Event Horizon, where in a ship called the Event Horizon literally goes to hell and comes back. So it's basically like you being a blank slate character, and how do you survive this pandemic, this absolute nightmare that has unfolded? You don't know shit. You are just the engineer. You are just a person. You are not a super soldier, which I think is a really cool thing, that an ordinary person, against all odds, against a goddamn kaiju, basically, wins, which I still think is silly as hell, and it doesn't fit. I think if you just left the planet and left the planet chunk there, that would have been a really cool ending, and it really fit the game, but that's just me. I have mentioned it earlier on in the video, but I definitely highly recommend those that love the Dead Space series in general. Check out the interview with Glenn Schofield, the creator of Dead Space. It's just really amazing and honestly just a spectacle to see people that are really passionate about a project, and for them to talk about it, it's honestly really exciting. I mean, geez, during the interview with the tentacle sections, they literally go on for a good 20 minutes talking about the struggles that they had just to create the tentacle sections. They didn't like how Isaac was lifted in the air. They didn't like the sound effects when he plomped down. He has to be ready to draw his gun at any moment. It's a very awesome, interesting, complex system, and he goes into depth on how they sort of solved it, and it's a really great watch. I'll definitely link it in the description below. Stories can have, long-lasting impacts on people's hearts and minds. I'd like to briefly talk about a media that has impacted my life in that regard, and that is Berserk 1999. For those that don't know, Berserk is an anime/manga. It's about a dude named Guts who, from birth, is basically raised to be a powerful warrior. He knows nothing but war. One day, he encounters this twink, this guy named Griffith, and after a fateful encounter, Griffith basically enlists Guts into his little band of mercenaries. After a few battles, Guts becomes a leader in Griffith's army, and over time, after many, fateful missions with Griffith, Guts starts to wonder if there is anything more to life than being in the service of others, and ultimately decides to find his path, or his dream, in that sense. Honestly, I don't think I did any favors for Berserk with that description. I highly recommend you go check out Berserk, because it's just an incredible piece of art. This has left such an impact on me, as Berserk has so many themes that it builds off of. Become strong, find yourself, and basically follow your dreams, as silly as it might be. But the way the story transpires, it really just conveys those themes into a beautiful message while also being like an epic piece of media. There's so much to be said about, you know, this show, and it's made me like want to take greater strides in what I do in my own life. You know, like going to the gym, taking my jiu-jitsu classes that I do, and you know, finding myself, finding what I want to do in life. As I've in my life right now, I feel like very, in a sense, conflicted by, you know, all sorts of what to do. Again, I highly recommend Berserk 1999, the original. I have not read the manga, and I don't really plan to because there are so many physical editions, and I don't really like reading on ebooks, so watch the anime, it is so good. But to bring it all home, the detail and passion in Dead Space 2008 is something to be admired. The systems that they were able to pull off in 2008 are the reason we have a remake in the first place. So I ask you, or better yet implore you, if there's ever a remake of a game coming out, look up the original if you can. See if you can emulate it or purchase an older version, or watch your favorite YouTuber talk about, you know, said older game and then, you know, make your synopsis based on that. But if they say the older version is good, check it out and then, you know, wait for the remake to come out. As you know, shit's expensive now. Plus, this is $60, and I don't think it's worth $60. The only real example that I have of a positive remake is Resident Evil 2. And that's because I could have never even play the original Resident Evil 2. I didn't have it for the PS2. But now, just in me making this video, it almost makes me want to go back and play Resident Evil 2. Because with the Resident Evil 3 remake, going back and watching videos on that, the Resident Evil 3 original is so in-depth with its many systems and like player choice and such. And it was such a disappointment to see that none of them systems were replicated, but it also is just a very big downgrade in quality over the remake that we got with RE2. But I will say Resident Evil 2 Remake did introduce me to the series, albeit that is a remake that is, quite frankly, pretty good. But with the RE2 remake, I went back and actually played the RE1 remake that it literally is like 100% faithful to the original, like right down to, you know, the gameplay with its fixed camera angles. Although they did switch over from original tank controls, there is like an option to play with tank controls and original controls, so that is a quality of life improvement and something if like, hey, if you really want to evoke the original, if you really want to get the spirit, here's how to do it. We added the feature in there, which is actually really cool. But I will even say, on the topic of the Resident Evil 2 remake, they did change the sort of vibes, themes they're trying to elicit in that game without it having its fixed camera angles, right? The fixed camera angles were in Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and when they remade it, it was a third-person shooter, basically. So in that sense, you are diverting from the original purpose of the original. But it is also the other additions, right? The gameplay, the characters, the story elements. What do they change that sort of can also elicit the same feeling that the original had? And to my point, I would argue this is almost like a grandfather's paradox. It's like the grandfather gives you an axe, and you know, you replace the axe blade and the hilts, and isn't even your grandfather's axe anymore. Alright, with that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end, let me know what you thought of the video. I mean, hopefully you got something from it. Hopefully I convinced you. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious that the original is way better. I mean, in any case, the original is always better. It's the original, you know, it's sparked, you know, these imitators, you know, flattery, or imitation is the sincerest form of flattery in that regard. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. It took a little longer to come out. Yeah, just a longer form content. It's gonna be a little bit. So, again, hope you all enjoyed. Hope you guys, you know, maybe got a laugh or two, a goof and gaff, spoof and spaff, fun time. And, yeah, subscribe if you like what you saw, because there's plenty more shite coming in the future. It's just takes a little bit to get out. So yeah, thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Do something cool, you wonderful piece of shit, get a shower or fucking whatever, and go to the gym, get a good gym routine going, look into gym routines, look into something you can do. Physical exercise is crazy important for your mental health. So yeah. Take care, you crazy fucking bastards. Have a good night, or whatever it is. Whatever you're watching this video, but peace.
Yeah, man, hey. Oh, hello, dear Baba boy. Wagwan, it's been a while, Yeah, man, I see you stumbled upon this video and others like it. So, if you want to see more, consider subscribing and commenting to this channel, Salty Cool Kid 101, the best channel on YouTube. Yeah, hey, beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, man, hey, the ocean is calm and serene. A man like me could rest easy here. Hey, but there is still work to be done, man. Places to see, things to do, and people to meet. Hey, don't dwell on your thoughts too much. Things never go the way you expect them to. Bye now, big brothers. Yeah, man.